all departments will have almost $4 billion less to spend on consultants, advertising, travel and legal fees. Labor says these savings only form the first phase of its spending audit, and more will be announced in future budgets.
Property prices are forecast to take a deep dive. Jessica Clancy has more.
Property values could fall by up to 20% over the next 2 years, wiping hundreds of billions of dollars of wealth from households. Research by the Reserve Bank reveals the sharp rise in interest rates to curb inflation will directly impact prices. Buyers are worried rates will continue to lift, which is causing ongoing stagnation of the market. Household wealth, which peaked at $15 trillion in March, has already fallen by $484 billion in the June quarter.
The race to become the next British Prime Minister is heating up, with Rishi Sunak declaring his hand. The former Chancellor is promising to fix the economy and unite the country. Boris Johnson is another favourite to replace Liz Truss, but is yet to formally announce his bid. Now to FIVEAA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. We'll start with some cricketer masterclass from Indian skipper Virat Kohli has led India to an epic final ball 4-wicket win over Pakistan in the T20 World Cup. Kohli smashed 82 from only 53 balls in front of a sold-out MCG. Ravi Ashwin hitting the winning run, as heard on Fox Cricket.
What a game we've had. Nawaz, what have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin goes over, clears the infield. India win a famous win.
Certainly was. More than 90,000 attended that match. Meantime, Sri Lanka smashed Ireland by 9 wickets. Port Adelaide has just fallen short against St Kilda, losing its AFLW match by 2 points. The Power held the Saints scoreless in the final term, but couldn't quite overrun their opponents. Port is 17th with a round to play, while the Crows are up to 3rd after their 2-point win against Geelong. The Formula One's US Grand Prix has just begun in Texas. Carlos Sainz jumped from pole but collided with George Russell on lap 1 and has been forced to retire. Max Verstappen now holds the lead with Lewis Hamilton 2nd and Russell is in 3rd. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo started from 17th place and is now 15th. To soccer, Adelaide United has fought hard to salvage a point in a 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. The Reds controversially down to 10 men deep in the first half after Hiroshi Ibusuku was sent off. And plenty of EPL action, with Tottenham losing 2-1 at home to Newcastle, while Southampton also kept Arsenal to a 1-1 draw. Aston Villa smashed Wolverhampton 4-0. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast: a shower or two and 20 today. Tomorrow a shower or two, 19. Wednesday a shower or two and 18. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. FIVEAA Breakfast.
Good morning to you on this Monday, 6 after 6. As Will would say, he's of course enjoying a few days of paternity leave with little Rosie. Spoke to Will last night. Everything is going pretty well in the Goodings household over the weekend, of course. He's well and happy, so is his lovely wife Alison. He's a little bit sleep deprived and delirious, but very well, I believe. David, hello.
Hello, Lise. Good morning to you. Good morning, listeners. Sleep deprived and delirious. Will's normally like that anyway in this line of work, so it's just, it's basically like same as it ever was, only with a baby thrown into the mix. But I haven't actually spoken to him directly. We've just been doing a bit of, eight sort of syllable blokey texting. How's it going, mate? Yeah, all good. It's about the extent of what I've got. But so he's because, Will and I, we do talk a lot. So, 4 days without chatting is not really a turn up for the books. But so he's good?
He is good. Well, I thought I'd just leave him to it. But he messaged me last night and said, how's FIVEAA? And I thought, come on, man, you've only been off.
How's FIVEAA? Who cares, Will? That's the answer to that question.
I said, the real question is, how are you?
Exactly.
But he is well and happy, and little Rosie, he'll be back in a few days' time. So thankfully, I've been able to step up to the job from producing to be on air. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, Lise, I'll tell you what, there'd be an outcry if you weren't back. I was talking to my parents yesterday. We had our kids babysat over the weekend, which is something Graham and Eve Goodings have got to look forward to over the coming years. But Kate and I had a rare adult night on Saturday where we went out for dinner with a couple of mates. But when I left Mum and Dad's place yesterday, Lise, you'll be pleased to hear the last thing my mum said to me was, "And Lucy will be back on air tomorrow, Dave?" And I said, "Yes, Mum, don't worry,
Yes.
she will be." So she's probably not quite up yet.
That's
but who
great.
knows?
That's an extra 2 more people for the fan club. I've got my parents and now your parents.
That's right.
That's all I need.
You've got a bit of a tactical advantage there with immediate relatives thinking you're doing a good job.
That's all right. I only need a 4-man fan club.
That's right.
4-person
Exactly.
fan club, I should say. No, very, very happy to be back. We do have a big show on this Monday. The rain especially is huge news. Speaking of my parents, the creek at my parents' house flooded yesterday in the Clare Valley. Our
just
driveway,
everywhere you look, it's just out of control, isn't it? And what happened? So how was it? Was it bad for them? Like, was it?
So thankfully our house is up on a little bit of a hill, so the house is definitely not affected. But the creek paddock right on the flat, totally flooded, and it's flooded the driveway a bit, I think. I'm not sure if Mum's heading out that way to work this morning. She might have to go the long way around the back of the house. But at the mid-north, seemingly it came out of nowhere. But Clare had something ridiculous, like 41 mils of rain between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. yesterday morning.
It's crazy, isn't it? But
there we go. Township of Clare. We are half an hour south of Clare, my parents' house, but 41.8 mils of rain.
Wow.
In a space of 6 hours on Sunday morning.
41 mils for some of the places in the eastern states at the moment sounds like a light shower. Poor old Lismore, like that joint has flooded so many times in the last couple of years. Looks like it's about to do so again. And just watching some of the families who were being interviewed last night, I don't know why you'd bother to live there, frankly. Like,
God, it's tough.
There's a part of town that the journos all know to go to because it's the bit that floods straight away. It's flooded something like 5 times in 2 years.
Yes,
and
it's heartbreaking for the residents.
But you wouldn't be able to get insurance if you live there.
No, and are houses on stilts a thing in that area of New South Wales?
Yeah, they are, but not all of them are. And
No.
a lot of it must just be poverty, that people just got no choice but to live there. And obviously, people are emotionally attached to the place that they grew up. But it does seem to be, a fairly sort of predictable occurrence that it keeps happening there. That the local journos sort of immediately arrive at this spot that's going to be probably underwater later today. The other place that is really looking the footage out of Echuca, like it looks like an inland sea. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah, it's grim for those residents. They're on a sort of a standby wait list for days on end as to what's going to eventuate.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. I spent a lot of time last week. They haven't run the story yet, the Oz. I'm going to have to G them up about it today, although SA is not really the focus of the coverage yet. Understandably, all of their attention's going to New South Wales and Victoria. But I spoke to a group of Manum people who are all in their late 70s and early 80s who can remember the 1956 floods. And they were kids at the time when it happened. And I spoke to one Manum chap, Ron Greening, who was 16 when the 1956 floods happened, and he was saying to me that I could swim like a fish. So they had volunteers coming from Adelaide, from other towns in rural South Australia. They all descended on Manum because first the bowling club flooded. I think that was around about, was it September 1956? Or anyway, I won't get the month exactly right from memory. So first, the water came out of the river, and it was all from, obviously up north. Same thing that's going to happen in 6 to 8 weeks' time.
Yes.
So the bowling club floods, then the entire cellar and ground floor of the Pretoria Hotel is inundated, and then the water is coming right up the main street. The Manum Rowing Club started holding races down the street, and this Ron chap, he was told, as were a whole bunch of other teenagers in the town, we're going to get you out sandbagging. So Ron's job as a lad was to basically swim in the Murray, and they'd throw sandbags at him. They had 100,000 sandbags, 100,000. And he must have been a hell of a swimmer. He's in the water having sandbags drop down to him, and he's using them to plug gaps in the makeshift wall that they're constructing to try to keep the town safe. And another one of the people from this little group of 4 that we assembled at the back deck of the Pretoria, which at the time in 1956 was a swimming pool, she was telling me that after the water finally flooded, because it took about a month for it to get up to its peak, which was, I think, 5.35 metres above its normal level, the water stayed there for like 6 months. Wow. And the stench, as it slowly dissipated, there's dead frogs and tadpoles and sludge and wrigglers, you name it. She just said it was like this pall was holding over the town for into 1957. The ferry didn't work, the one that gets you back and forth across the river, the little chain punt, didn't work till February the following year. So they had almost 6 months where you couldn't even cross the river. So the town, like, the impact of these things is massive.
Yeah, that just wouldn't happen. The ferry not working for 6 months just wouldn't happen now. They would find a way.
Well, yeah, you'd think
say that exact event reoccurred, they would find a way.
Well, no one thinks it's going to be as bad as 56, but they think it could be as bad as 74 later this year. And Ron was saying he sort of thinks that people get a little bit complacent about it and think, oh, well, they're just little markers on a sign down near one of the river red gums on the riverbank there. But who knows? Because all the warnings in the last week about, or the predictions rather, about what it's going to mean locally, they seem to have jumped around a lot, don't they?
Yeah, it is hard to keep tabs, especially for people who are not familiar with Victoria or New South Wales towns, that this is directly affecting. Like, I've never been to Echuca. I don't know.
Echuca's great.
What would even be in Echuca, but I'm hearing about all these things.
There's a really good Greek restaurant there, Luce.
Of course there is, David.
Excellent.
Of course there is. We're going to endeavour to cross to the eastern states later and hear from some of the residents impacted.
We should also throw it open to our River Murray dwelling residents. Anyone with memories of the big floods of 56 or 74, even some of the smaller ones that happened in the 90s, give us a ring, 8223 0000.
That's right. You can text us on the Automasters text line 0448 08 1395 or tune in on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook or YouTube live stream. We'll be back with news headlines after this.
Listen up. When we take control, we hold the key to ageing in our hands. Live Up is your new healthy ageing guide that can be accessed via phone, iPad or computer. Enjoy free expert advice, personalised support and community connections to help you age your way. Discover more at liveup.org.au. Live Up. Welcome to the upside of ageing.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows, factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Now, we love a South Australian success story, and that's exactly what Bob Burns Blinds is. The man himself, Bob Burns, he made his first blind in 1954, and generations on, his family are still going. They're still manufacturing at St Mary's, where Will and I, Luce, were lucky enough to tour a couple of months ago.
And a new generation has joined the company. Russell and Belinda, along with highly qualified staff, certainly make a formidable team of passionate people.
Do they ever? And they do it all, from exterior blinds and interior blinds to curtains, motorisation, security products, even shutters.
And because nearly everything is manufactured on site, they can have your roller blinds measured up, made and installed in just 10 days.
Now, you could be waiting up to 3 months with other companies, but because Bob Burns Blinds manufacture here, you can have them in just 10 days. That's the Bob Burns 10-day promise. Visit their website, bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the all-new Nissan Qashqai ST. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Kate Collins and Brenton Raglas, the faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you. Let's get to some news of the day.
Bit of men without hats to get you up and about there, Luce.
I like it.
Do you know that song?
I do not, which will shock absolutely no one in this
Here's
room,
a
but I
weird
like it.
factoid. So Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau's mother is in that video clip, dancing like some new wave weirdo. There you go.
You know your
You
factoids.
didn't know that, did you?
I did not.
Why do you remember crap like that? I asked myself.
Ah,
Can't remember my wedding anniversary, but I can remember that.
that's all right. One would argue that might be a more important fact.
Well-
Kate probably wouldn't.
No, that's right. Exactly.
We'll chat more about this story after 7 a.m, but the beach at Seacliff remains closed following yesterday's shark attack. 19-year-old Nat Drummond was in the water when what's believed to be a great white appeared and took a bite out of his surf ski. The uni student ripped his leg rope off and other paddlers quickly came to his rescue. He luckily made it back to shore and was shaken but not injured. Aerial searchers have so far failed to find the shark, and a decision will be made today on when they can reopen the beach.
What about the mark that it left on the surf ski? It looks exactly like a giant great white shark's mouth.
Oh, it could be nothing else.
It's just it's like down to the sort of perforated mark that it's left in the fiberglass.
Yeah, if you picture a perfect great white shark bite, it is precisely that, right in the middle of the surf ski.
He's so lucky, like, because he was in the water, like he fell in.
Yeah.
That would just blow your mind, wouldn't it? Sort of makes you think twice about pottering around in the kayak.
And Seacliff's such a lovely beach. I've been stand-up paddleboarding there, but maybe I won't this summer.
You'd want to keep standing up.
Yeah. Heck, I don't want to think about that too much.
A lot of stingrays at Seacliff, down on that little curve
Yeah,
bit.
it's really fascinating just staring at them, though.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think of Steve Irwin and I try to put that out of my head.
I know, exactly. Yes.
The federal budget will be handed down tomorrow, and Labor believes they have found $21 billion in savings already. In some instances, money will be either scrapped or reduced from certain infrastructure projects, like construction, that's deemed more of a priority, and $4 billion is expected to be slashed from spending on consultants, advertising and travel. Nearly 1.5 million households are without electricity in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. The country's president says Russia is attacking the energy grid. In this translation, thanks to the BBC, Volodymyr Zelensky says energy has been restored in some areas, but he's urging citizens to conserve power where they can.
Together, we are now showing that Ukrainian life cannot be broken. Even if the enemy can leave us temporarily without power, it will never succeed in leaving us without the desire to make things right, to mend and return them to normal. And even now, partially in the dark, life in our Ukraine is still civilized.
Tell you what, imagine those people living there. Like, it's coming up for a year now. The invasion started in February. We have this whiteboard in our kitchen where you plan the next sort of 6 to 7 weeks, and I just get whiteboard markers and we draw a grid, and it's just like, it looks like the periodic table of what the kids are doing, what nights they're working in their part-time jobs, what night my parents come for dinner, what nights we're going away or have got school events or whatever.
Does the Ukrainian invasion make the...
No, well, this is what I'm thinking. Like, I redid it last night, and it's the 7 weeks that are now on the board take us up to when our Christmas holidays start. Mm-hmm. And so you start planning for the Christmas period with your family and what are you going to do with your friends. Imagine, like, being a Ukrainian. Imagine being in Kyiv. You got no idea if you're going to be there tomorrow. Like, the extent to which all the things you take for granted living in a country like Australia have been ripped out from under those poor people. So what's their Christmas going to be like?
Maybe it's a naive view of mine from so far away, but I thought it would have all been over by now.
Oh, you and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think most people did think it would be over. I think most people thought it would be over within 2 months.
It's crazy. Yeah, what are we up to now? 7, 8 months?
Yep. But credit to the Ukrainians that they've just gone. And it shows that, like, human will doesn't matter what technology you've got, but your mindset is ultimately the thing that determines results in battles. Because you've basically got Ukrainians who massively care about the war, fighting against young Russian men who've been basically compelled under a totalitarian state to go and fight there for something that most of them probably think is a pile of nonsense. So, you know, what was his name? Tun Singh, The Art of War. He was the bloke who wrote a lot about that stuff. Anyway.
That's the Ukrainian invasion, everyone. And climate protesters are targeting artwork again, this time in Germany. This time they've thrown mashed potatoes at a Monet painting in a museum in Potsdam to protest fossil fuel extraction.
Mashed potato.
Mashed potato on a Monet in Germany this morning on a Monday. Weather today, top of 20 with a shower or two. Possible rainfall 1 to 4 mils in the city. Tomorrow, 19 degrees or a shower or two. And no doubt we'll have some more weather warnings coming up from the bomb afterwards. Rennie with sport has just wandered in. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Lucy. Morning, David. Winners and losers from the weekend. My goodness, what a list it was. There was so much happening over the weekend. Let's start with the most recent. I'm not sure if you saw it. It's not my favourite format of cricket, but that match last night between India and Pakistan.
Apparently this was a doozy. I was getting very rare to get texts from mates about a T20 game.
It's I think the best atmosphere I've ever seen for a cricket game. Maybe the best atmosphere for anything. It was phenomenal.
That's a huge credit to the people of India and Pakistan for being such enthusiasts, though, isn't it?
Oh, it was. The match itself had everything. 16 to win off the final over, 2 wides and waist high full toss.
2 wickets.
2 wickets. Bowled, but it was a free hit, so they got to run 3 runs because it went down to the boundary and they ran 3. Virat Kohli playing what he said was the best innings of his life in T20s. I mean, it had everything. This is how it finished on Fox Sports last night.
What have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin goes over, clears the infield. India win a famous win. You look at all the great wins over the years, and I think you'll find very, very few to compare with this one.
It was at the MCG, wasn't it?
95,000 fans. Just phenomenal. Ian Smith, who's been in the game his entire life, playing, coaching, broadcasting, said it's the best atmosphere he's been to, hands down, ever. So, I mean, it was...
In any format.
In any format. It was just breathtaking, and the match had it all. I felt sorry for Pakistan, wanted them to win, but...
Did one of the Indians take a catch that was massively suspect as well? Was that Ashwin?
Maybe, but the last over, I thought Pakistan was so stiff for that to be called a no ball. I thought it was borderline. And it got called. And then the rule of, on the free hit, Kohli was bowled, they got to run 3. I mean, I think it should be a dead ball. And this happened 2 days earlier in a women's Big Bash match. So that's the way it goes. Look, there were a couple of decisions that went either way. So, look, in the end, amazing. Great advertisement for the game and for the sport. So that's a big winner. The Crows women, got to give them a big tick. That was huge on Friday night. They're probably going to finish top 4 now. The 36ers, huge win for them. They beat the Sydney Kings, and one of the big losers is Paul Smith, who shot his mouth off several times like an absolute dill, saying the 36ers were carrying on after their win in the US. Well, Paul, you had to eat some humble pie, so eat some of that, mate. Great win for the 36ers. Nottingham Forest, they're a big winner. They beat Liverpool 1-0 in the Premier League. And Animo, for all those racing enthusiasts, what a win that was on the weekend for the Cox Plate. Losers, the Aussies in the T20. They were dreadful on the weekend against New Zealand. They were smashed. Now, I don't know if this is a winner or a loser, but netball sponsorship, depending on which...
That's a total loser.
Yeah.
Netball could cease to exist in this country.
I sincerely hope that is never the case.
Well, I was going to say, Lise, you're the keen netballer here.
As an avid social C1 division netballer.
But it's frightening, isn't it? Because netball's so strong at a junior level, but yet we're really struggling to sustain the game at the top level at the moment, which is a major concern. And
well, I like the William Leake cartoon, Johannes Leake cartoon in the Australian today. Beggars can be choosers. It's got a picture of a netballer standing there holding a hat out saying donations gratefully accepted, with an asterisk saying except from alcohol companies, gambling
be about
companies,
10 different categories probably.
Pharmaceutical companies, fossil fuel companies,
fast food,
mining companies, fast food. Like where is it going to end? And I think Lang Hancock, a reprehensible Australian in so many ways with his racial views. I mean, the comment that he made that has triggered this is I think probably the worst thing that was ever said in Australian public life. His proposal, made casually in a TV interview, was maybe we could put contraceptives into the water supply in outback Australia to breed out Indigenous Australians, which is genocide, what he was suggesting. It's disgusting. Having said that, are opinions hereditary? You know, do you inherit? Do we have to now go back through every single person who sponsors some, or is not even sponsoring a sports code, anyone who's in public life? I mean, I'm sure my grandparents had some pretty shocking views back in the days of sectarianism, Catholic v Protestant, all that sort of stuff. So it's just this sort of cancel culture stuff gone crazy to the point where now we've got an entire sports code in Australia that might collapse.
Yeah, exactly. It puts a lot of pressure on the junior system to prop up the higher end, I suppose. And the A-League referee yesterday, that's my other loser in the Adelaide United game in the VAR, the officials. How Hiroshi Ibasuku was sent off, I will never know, but that was a dreadful decision. So they're the winners and losers from the weekend, Lucy.
Thanks, Rennie.
On you, Tom.
Check out Gladroll Garage Doors' new timber look native series sectional doors at gladroll.com.au.
For over 38 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip. With over 400 used cars to choose from, you're sure to find the car you're looking for. You won't find a better range of cars covering the entire region from Gawler to the Barossa Valley and Clare. And don't forget, you can always click through the collection of vehicles online at steinborner.com.au. Great local deals on great local cars from your locals. Steinborner Automotive. Still well worth the trip or well worth the click.
Do you want fresh filtered water flowing through your home? Choose a system by Complete Home Filtration. Joining me from Complete Home Filtration is Suzanne Dodds, who incidentally won the Telstra 2022 Business Awards. So what's the benefits of filtered water, Suzanne?
Well, the benefits of filtering water for the whole home mean that you don't just enjoy filtered water for drinking, but for showering and bathing as well. So people see big differences in softer skin, softer hair, unlimited bottled water quality water from every tap.
That sounds great. So where can we purchase one?
You can just jump online and go to completehomefiltration.com.au.
That's completehomefiltration.com.au.
Taste, feel, see the difference.
RAA and Foodbank are working together to end hunger in South Australia, with 2 mobile food hubs now on the road delivering food to South Aussies that need it the most. They need your help to stock the shelves.
And this week, a mobile food hub will be visiting major shopping centres in Mount Barker, Modbury, Marion and Elizabeth, collecting donations between 8 a.m. and 12:30 p.m.
Head down and drop off some non-perishable items, things like canned fruit and veggies, pasta, rice and more.
And these custom-built trucks, they're designed to carry 2 tonnes of stock. They're grocery stores on wheels, providing free and discounted food to families and individuals in need.
For more information or to donate online, visit raa.com.au/foodbank.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 20 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Pirie Street, Norwood, Halleck Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
The beach at Seacliff is expected to reopen today after an eventful weekend. 19-year-old Nat Drummond had a chunk taken out of his surf ski yesterday during a close encounter with what's thought to be a great white shark. He's told Nine he saw a figure in the water.
I immediately just ripped my leg rope off and I swam towards these guys here who were paddling towards me, thankfully. Just jumped on their craft and pulled me out the water to safety.
The uni student was shaken but not physically hurt. Regional SA is dealing with flooding. Parts of the Riverland, Mid-North, Clare Valley and Barossa are affected and many roads are closed. Meantime, communities across New South Wales are banding together as heavy rainfall lashes the state. More than 150 personnel are in Moree to help locals as the river rises. Local David Carter says volunteers spent the weekend sandbagging areas of concern.
Emergency services are very helpful. Boys with the sandbags coming around, they're doing their best and helping a lot of people out, so it's much appreciated.
More than $21 billion identified in savings will be announced in tomorrow's federal budget. It's the first phase of a spending audit undertaken by Labor since it won the May election. Money will also be redirected from some infrastructure projects and moved to construction that's considered more of a priority. Families will have better access to paid parental leave. The scheme will also be expanded to 20 weeks from July and continue increasing by 2 weeks a year until 2026. Social Services Minister Amanda Rishworth says a family income test will allow 180,000 who were not previously eligible to access the benefit.
We know that often there is a situation where one partner earns less than the other. They might be taking the primary care and they don't always benefit from the paid parental leave.
A Monet in a Berlin museum has been targeted by climate protesters. They threw mashed potatoes at the painting Le Merle. Reports say there's no visible damage to the artwork. Last week, a can of soup was used to deface Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers in London. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. A masterclass from Indian batsman Virat Kohli has led India to an epic final ball 4-wicket win over Pakistan in the T20 World Cup. Kohli smashed 82 from only 53 balls in front of a sold-out MCG. Well, Adelaide United remains without a win in the A-League after playing out a 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. The Reds were down to 10 men for more than a half after Hiroshi Ibasuku was controversially sent off. Coach Carl Viet still seeing red after the match.
It's not a great spectacle for our game if we're going to make decisions like that. Look, I'm all for protecting players, but there has to be some force and some actual opportunity that you're going to do damage. But, there's no force there.
Yeah, fair call, that audio. Thanks to 10. In the EPL, Aston Villa has smashed Brentford 4-0 this morning, and that was just days after sacking manager Steven Gerrard. In other matches overnight, Newcastle jumped into the top 4 courtesy of a 2-1 win away to Tottenham. Striker Miguel Almiron continuing his hot run of form for the Magpies.
Brushing his way past Longley, and what a finish for 2-0! 5 goals in 5 games for the Paraguayan! And Tottenham are in trouble.
Audio there thanks to Optus. Southampton held Arsenal to a 1-1 draw. Fulham beat Leeds 3-2, while Leicester smashed Wolverhampton 4-0. And Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers' horrible run of form has continued after suffering a 21-3 point loss against the lowly Carolina Panthers. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, a shower or two and 20 for your Monday. Tomorrow a shower or two, 19. Much the same again on Wednesday, 18. And a possible shower Thursday, 18. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
Everyone at the back, please. Sitting quietly, please. In a circle, thank you. Today we're going to talk about what we'd like to be when we grow up.
A police girl.
Race car driver.
I want to be a gymnast. I want to be a concreter. With Adelaide Exposed Concrete.
I want to be a concreter too.
Me too.
AdelaideExposedConcrete.com.au. Best on ground all year round.
What's a concreter?
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you on this Monday morning, 6:36. We're in for a top of 20 today. Shower or two, 1 to 4 mils if you are in the mid-north, Clare Valley, Gilbert Valley, Riverton area, my hood, so they say where I grew up. There's
Your hood.
My hood, there's a fair bit of flooding around. We'll get some warnings from Sapole and Bomb
Don't really
shortly.
think of Clare, Auburn, Seven Hill as the hood. Think of sort of, South Central LA as the hood.
I only refer to it as the hood because that's my hood.
Where you from? Yo, I'm from Mintaro, man.
That's right. That's where I'm from. Don't forget you can tune in to David and myself this morning on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and text us in on the Automasters text line 0448 08 3095. Got one here who wishes to remain anonymous. Hi, Dave and Lucy. I was a 4-year-old and lived at Waikerie in 1956 and remember when they pulled the timbers out of the lock to let the water through and was able to walk with my brother and father down to the river channel and see the pools of water left in the channel until they cleared the debris, tree branches from the lock, so they could get the timbers back into bank in the water.
It's crazy. We got a call about it as well from Heather in McGill with some memories of the Murray floods of 1956. Good morning, Heather. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Look,
you can remember 56?
I was high school, so I remember very clearly. And because my father ran the ferry across the river all his life.
Oh, was this in Mannum, Heather?
Upstream from Mannum, a little place that you've never heard of, Pernong Landing.
I know Pernong. I've been there on a houseboat. It's a great spot.
Yes, there you go. It's cliffs one side and willows it was on the other, till they took the willows out. I didn't see it that way at that time. As a teenager, it was a pretty boring place to live because you had the Mallee, and that was it. But I was sent away to high school, and I came home in 1956, school holidays, September, and it was pretty obvious that I've sent through a couple of text pictures. I don't know whether you producers come up with them.
Yeah, we've got one here, Heather, looking straight
right,
at it.
so our house was miles away up the hill from the river, and then that was in normal times you can see it, and I think I was going swimming and waving at a camera, and it was before electricity. I was 15. And then the next one was when I went home for school holidays in 1956, September holidays, I think. And there it was, through the house. The phone was on the wall in those days, and it came up to the telephone.
Wow.
Really?
Right through the house. You can see Dad was rowing the boat out to the house.
So
but
you're sort of talking about where Bow Hill is, aren't you?
Well, it's upstream from Bow Hill.
Yeah, yeah.
It's between, there's Mannum, and then there's Bow Hill, then there's Pernong Landing.
That's right.
Then Nildotty.
Nildotty, yeah.
And then there's Swan Reach, which is where everyone knows.
Yeah.
Now, there were locks, and the locks were to prevent... 1952 was the really big one, and 1932 was bigger. That was the biggest. Yeah. And there is no way that those people in that area could be surprised, and there's no such thing as flash flooding on the Murray. My father could... He kept the river levels every day. They were broadcast by the ABC when it was the ABC. They broadcasted useful stuff back then. And he kept...
the good old days.
We appreciate that. Thanks, Heather.
The good old days. And he kept the river levels from all the towns and on the different rivers, the tributaries that ran into the River Murray and into the Macquarie and the Lachlan. And they all ended up in the Darling and inevitably downstream.
Well, that's right.
And he used to be able to say, look at the level at Deniliquin and tell you how high the water was going to be where we lived.
Wow.
That's how predictable the Murray is.
Yeah.
So no one who lives there, who's been alive for a while, would be surprised at what's happening and will know exactly how high it's going to go.
Yes.
But there was no helicopters in those days. You had to drive your car either all the way up to Blanchetown or down to Murray Bridge to get across the river to get near to the city, to Adelaide.
Yeah.
No one did, except for carriers of produce that was growing around the place.
It's an incredible memory there, Heather.
Certainly is. Thank you, Heather.
Incredible recall on the flooding.
And as well on the Automaster text line says water levels at Echuca over the years, they still have to consider the fact that the snow water hasn't come through yet via the other rivers, I've been feeling for the last 3 years that this could be a repeat of what happened just before the big floods in 1956. Thank you for that, Anne. It's
incredible, isn't it, just seeing heaps of water? Because we're so used to a hot, dry summer, and I know there's the El Nino effect this year, third time running. Oh, no, wait, is it La Nina?
No, we're La Nina now.
La Nina now.
And we were in the 1970s as well.
Right.
So when those, because it was pretty much 3 years of flooding in the early 70s, with 74 being the worst, and they were mild and wet summers.
Now we've got another 3 years of La Nina. It's a real pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Real
totally
pattern.
Is.
Some news from the Google realm this morning.
Then the swaggy comes in, smothered in dust and flies. He throws down his...
Now, everyone who has used a computer has at least clicked on google.com.
Oh, yeah.
This is Slim Dusty, of course. Here's today's Google graphic.
Oh, seriously?
It has been 19 years since Slim Dusty passed away.
Wow, 19 years.
19 years. Now, he is today, so when you type google.com or google.com.au, there's a lovely little graphic of Slim Dusty with his guitar there.
What are they called, those Google motifs? Because there's a different...
Yep, Google Doodle.
Google Doodle, that's right.
Yes.
It's the image you see every day when you click on Google. So if you tap the picture of Slim...
Yep.
You get taken to...
Go straight to sort of a Wikipedia search.
Wikipedia, yeah.
So Slim's family, with his wife and children, have been working with Google. They've done a full collaboration to get this Google Doodle live for the next 24 hours. And it's celebrating his success in Australian music.
It's a lovely little caricature that they've done of him as well, with his
nice,
little
isn't
acoustic guitar.
So if you jump onto Google today, you will see a lovely little picture of Slim Dusty. Fun fact, his real name is David Kirkpatrick.
I had no idea.
There you go. He made his first recording at age 15.
Wow.
And he sent his records into radio and then singing where he could get a hearing, and eventually he managed to get a recording contract. But from the age of 15, David Kirkpatrick was writing music and then became known as Slim Dusty.
Probably one of the first singers, too, to sing in an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Because up until then, everyone sort of, everyone wanted to sound as English as they possibly could in this country.
That recording I just played was A Pub With No Beer, of course. That was made in 1957.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Jump onto Google. You can have a read about Slim Dusty. And while you do that, instead you might be driving into work, so let's check traffic. Don't miss out. Exclusive townhouses are now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address. Visit 88 O'Connell.
Thanks, Lucy, and good morning. At Christie Downs, got a smash on Wheatsheaf Road at Panalatinga Road. At Paraki, you'll find a burst water main with Swanning Main North Road near Montague Road. And Hackham, got a few headaches with the sinkhole. It's Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road, speeds it out of 40 k's. Getting busy, South Road at Mylene with cameras today, Diagonal Road Glengarry and Walkerville Terrace at Gilberton. Business owners, stop paying merchant fees and terminal rental. Talk to SmartPay today for zero cost FPOS. Visit smartpay.com.au. Minimum turnover and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, John. What about this outside break
low prices any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here. Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. Foodland. The mighty South.
You're watching the 5AA live stream, thanks to Foodland.
Mighty South Aussies, yeah.
To be an action-packed BBL season. I can't wait to get back in the Strikers blue this summer, and there's no better sound than the roar of a full Adelaide Oval crowd as some poor batter's stumps go flying. Tickets are on sale now with early bird pricing set to end on Monday the 21st of November. Visit adelaidestrikers.com.au and I look forward to seeing you back at Adelaide Oval this summer.
Now, after more than a century being known as the Royal Society for the Blind, they're changing their name to See Differently. This better reflects their primary purpose, providing people who are blind and vision impaired with a new perspective on life, but it doesn't change what they do.
See Differently continues to do great work with guide dogs, and did you know it takes 2 years and well over $50,000 to train a guide dog? Since it began, the program has expanded to train and provide dogs for veterans with PTSD, autism and assisted therapy.
See Differently with the Royal Society for the Blind, 140 years strong, and here's to another 140 years.
For more information about See Differently, with the Royal Society for the Blind. Go to seedifferently.org.au.
Introducing the Kia Cars of the Year. The Kia Cars of the Year. The fully electric Kia EV6. The Wheels Car of the Year. And the Drive Car of the Year. The Kia Sportage. To pick your side in this sibling rivalry, visit kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake.
AutoCam. Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters.
Kate Collins and Brendan Raglas. The faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you. Wet day possibly ahead. We'll find out more shortly from Vince Rowlands. We'll catch up with Sapol. And some news imminently about the British election. We spoke on Friday to Vincent McAviney after Liz Truss resigned after 45 days as head of the UK, essentially. So we have some updates within the last 10 minutes on that front, but let's get to the weather first. Vince Rowlands, senior forecaster at the Bureau. Morning to you, Vince.
Morning. How are we looking, mate? Bit of rain around yesterday, but it's calming down a bit now by the looks of things.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of rain, particularly around the hills yesterday. We ended up with 10 millimetres, just over 10 millimetres here at West Terrace, a little bit less near the coast, but yeah, certainly up in the hills we saw some totals getting up around that sort of 10 to 20 millimetre mark, and over the eastern slopes of the ranges we even saw some totals getting up around the 30 millimetres. But yeah, quite a lot of heavy rainfall over the weekend up around the mid-north and to our east. Renmark had 95 millimetres yesterday, so yeah, some pretty substantial rain around. So still a risk of some showers around, particularly those eastern slopes of the ranges again, but pushing over the hills. So we still might get the odd shower just pushing across the metro area today. So we might see another few millimetres moving across the city, but yeah, the majority will still be up in the hills with that southeasterly airstream. But we're looking at getting a top of 20 degrees today. It's currently sitting around 14 degrees, so you should see hopefully a little bit of sunshine later this afternoon, but yeah, still going to see a little bit of shower activity today. We are easing as far as showers go over the next few days. The temperature's dropping a little bit, so we've got 19, a shower or two around tomorrow, probably just looking at less than a millimetre or two. Pretty similar conditions on Wednesday, top of 18 degrees. But we really see the showers easing off during Thursday, Friday. So I've got 18 with a possible shower on Thursday, partly cloudy on Friday, 18. But at this stage, the weekend looks like it might be, again, reasonably wet. There is a bit of difference in our guidance. So, yeah, we'll be watching that one pretty closely for next weekend. But there is potential there for more showers to move across the city. We've got 20 degrees and a shower or two for Saturday, 21 in showers for Sunday, and as I mentioned, yeah, some possible reasonable falls, but we'll be looking at that one pretty closely over the coming few days and try and get some more accuracy on those forecasts over the next couple of days.
Good on you, Vince.
Excellent. Thanks, Vince. We're going to head over to Cops now. Matt Brown is on duty for Sapol. Morning to you, Matt. There was a hotel robbery at Mile End.
Good morning, everyone. How you going?
We're good, thanks, Matt. Have we caught you on the hop there?
Sorry, I was just changing screens from another release.
Oh, no worries. Good on you, mate.
No, that's all right. Just before 12:30am today, police were called to a hotel on Henley Beach Road after two men entered the premises and stole alcohol. And the pair was confronted as they tried to leave the hotel, and they assaulted a staff member by punching him in the face. The men fled on foot and were last seen heading towards Taylor's Lane. The victim didn't require medical treatment, but the suspects are described as being about 175 centimetres tall, slim build, about under 30 years old. One male was wearing a black hooded jumper, light coloured pants with a white stripe down the leg, white Nike sneakers, black New York Yankees baseball cap, and a black face mask. And the second suspect was wearing light coloured jeans, a black hooded jumper with a thick white stripe across the front, and a Raiders logo on the rear of the jumper and on the front as well. So anyone who may have witnessed the incident is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Matt, also 2 teenagers have been arrested after crashing a motorbike.
That's right, David. Police were alleged just before 10 p.m. last night a patrol attempted to stop a grey Yamaha motorcycle in Morford Street after checks revealed that the bike was stolen. Now, the rider and his passenger tried to speed off, but then they remembered they weren't very good at riding a motorbike and crashed the bike soon after. So officers caught the pair almost straight away after a brief foot pursuit. And the 16-year-old boy who was riding the bike and his 15-year-old male passenger, both from Evanston, were charged with numerous offences, including illegal use of a motor vehicle, failing to stop for police and hindering police. So they were bailed to appear in the Adelaide Youth Court at a later date.
Matt, as well, that we heard yesterday all across news services, the mum and her son who were stabbed in Unley from a carjacking. Is that right? You've got an update?
That's right, Lucy. The investigation is still ongoing, but just to remind everyone, just before 4:40am yesterday morning, police were called to Young Street at Unley after a 47-year-old woman reported that her car had been broken into and items stolen from inside. Now, the victim woke up after hearing noises and noticed 3 males breaking into her car. And the offenders ran off towards King William Road and were chased by the victim and her son. And an altercation took place, and both the victim and her son sustained non-life-threatening stab wounds. And the offenders fled the scene, and both victims were taken to hospital for treatment. Now, the knife was located nearby, and the first suspect is described as being of Caucasian appearance, about 175 centimetres tall, long brown hair, and was wearing a hooded black jacket. The second suspect, of African appearance, slim build, about 165 centimetres tall, with short dark hair, was wearing a black jacket and trousers. And the third suspect, also of African appearance, slim build, about 165 centimetres tall and wearing dark clothing. So still appealing for witnesses to come forward in relation to this one. So if you did see anything in Young Street Unley yesterday morning, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Is there some sort of intelligence around this, Matt, that this is a pattern that has been happening, particularly in that area? Because I know of somebody else who had their car pinched in that part of town only about 2 months ago. Do you think that they might actually be deliberately targeting, people who've got luxury cars in that neck of the woods?
Yeah, well, I remember we spoke about this a few weeks back, Dave, but there has been a few more incidents of note of these type of cars being targeted. So what we recommend with people that you have your car keys in your hand when you get home at night or after being out for the day, instead of just popping them on the kitchen counter, where if someone were to break into your house and they could just scoop them up and, like the movie says, then your car's gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
You could put your keys in a backpack or a handbag, put that next to or under your bed. Don't make it easy for thieves to steal your pride and joy, and also try and park the car under the carport or around the back of the house, so out of sight, out of mind, and out of reach of crooks.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time, Matt.
Good on you, Matt. Thank you.
Now, we're going to chat about Boris Johnson here. I know we do want to chat
about... Sadly, we're going to chat about the fact that Boris Johnson is not making a spectacular return to public life, aren't we?
You stole the punchline. Bear, we'll get back to the punchline in a roundabout way. So, of course, people were thinking that he would definitely be putting his name forward, contesting the leadership once again, and that god-awful photo of him flying back from wherever he was, Caribbean maybe, and he's come back and he's on his phone looking as dishevelled as ever. Anyway, British MP Andrew Brigden had his say on Boris Johnson potentially coming back.
Boris Johnson isn't the bravest of politicians. If he doesn't, pretty sure he can win. I'm not sure he'll stand. I'm not convinced he can win overwhelmingly.
Amongst the membership?
That is possible. However, I would say to the membership, I supported Boris Johnson originally for leader. I would say to the membership, look, the old adage is very true. Catch me once, shame on you. Catch me twice. I think we've had enough of Boris Johnson for quite a while.
And then well-known comedian and TV host Graham Norton has had his say.
Who's it going to be next? Well, sources say it could be Penny Mordaunt, for the party's sake. It could be Rishi Sunak, for the country's sake. Or even Boris Johnson. For sake.
You could see that coming, but it was still funny.
I know. Well, now we have a statement from Boris Johnson. He explains he's been overwhelmed by people suggesting he could do it and thank you very much, etc., etc. But in the course of the last few days, he says, I have sadly come to the conclusion that this would simply not be the right thing to do. You can't govern effectively unless you have a united party in Parliament. And though I've reached out to both Rishi and Penny because I hoped that we could come together in the national interest, we have sadly not been able to work out a way of doing this. Therefore, I am afraid the best thing is that I do not allow my nomination to go forward and commit my support to whoever succeeds. I believe I do have much to offer, but I'm afraid that this is simply not the right time.
Well, I think it's a very sensible decision because to return to Johnson after there'd been a full 12 to 18 months of white-handing of him by people within the Tory party over Partygate, it would just resuscitate and revive all of those old internal tensions. And, you know, when people say politics isn't a popularity contest, no, it actually is a popularity contest.
And he has zero popularity.
100%, that's right. So Sunak should get it standing on his head. He's the very mild-mannered bloke who was the Chancellor throughout throughout the entirety of the COVID period, and he's a clean skin.
But and possibly a dumb question I'm about to ask, but he lost out to Liz Truss a mere 7 weeks ago. What do you think he's actually feeling right now? Is he thinking, cool, she failed? Or I need to step up and be what I said I can be?
Yeah, I think he'd be supremely confident that he can do it as well. He's certainly the Labor Party's most feared opponent because, sure, the party members, mainly because the huge element of mad ideologues at the grassroots level in the Tories, they wanted to go with Liz Truss, and we all know how that worked out. But the average punter, Sunak was much more popular with the public than he was within the Tory party. So I think if anyone's going to get things back on track there, it's him, which is why they're going to go with him.
Back after the 7 o'clock news.
The best venues in SA were recently announced at the Hotel Industry Awards for Excellence. Winners include the Sterling Hotel for Best Bistro Outer Metro and Cremorne Hotel for Best Bistro Inner Metro. Dalrymple Hotel, Stansbury and Seven Hill Hotel were Best Bistro's Country Joint winners. Sofitel Adelaide is the Best Restaurant Accommodation Division, and 2KW Bar and Restaurant won the Best Restaurant General Division, including joint winner for Best Outdoor Facility. For more, visit ahjsa.asn.au.
Montine, everybody's talking about Montine.
And everybody's talking about Ford, Kia, Hyundai and Mitsubishi, with all four brands representing state-of-the-art vehicles with unheard-of stock availability. Montine at Mount Barker is your ultimate destination for servicing, parts, used cars, vehicle finance, all at one perfect location. Mention the code word MG coming soon to receive $500 free accessories on any vehicle purchase. Now that's why everybody's talking about Montine.
MVD 182170.
Don't wait another second. The feel-good sensation 9 to 5 the musical is now playing at the Adelaide Festival Centre to ecstatic reviews. Full of colour and charm, explosive, says Glam Adelaide. Non-stop fun, raves the advertiser. Dolly Parton's smash hit is great entertainment, pure gold carrot fun. And the cast will blow your mind. Marina Pryor, Eddie Perfect, Casey Donovan, Erin Clare, plus Caroline O'Connor. We've had the pleasure of having 3 of those in the studio with us. Tickets are from just $69, but hurry, it's only here for 2 more weeks. Must close 5th of November. Book at 925themusical.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 20 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
A hotel at Mile End has been held up. 2 men entered the premises on Henley Beach Road around 12:30 this morning and stole alcohol. The pair were confronted. It will be alleged they assaulted a staff member by punching him in the face. Senior Constable Matt Brown has a description of the offenders.
Being about 175 centimetres tall, slim build, under 30 years old. One male was wearing a black hooded jumper, light coloured pants with a white stripe down the leg, white Nike sneakers, black New York Yankees baseball cap and a black face mask. The second suspect was wearing light coloured jeans, a black hooded jumper with a thick white stripe across the front.
The beach at Seacliff remains closed following yesterday's shark attack. 19-year-old Nat Drummond was in the water when what's believed to be a great white appeared and took a bite out of his surf ski. The uni student ripped his leg rope off and other paddlers came to his rescue. He's told Nine he was happy to make it back to shore.
My mum and dad were straight to me as soon as I got to the beach and just gave him a big hug.
He's shaken but not injured. Aerial searches have failed to find the shark. Motorists are advised to take care in regional areas hit by heavy rain. There's been flooding in parts of the Riverland, Mid-North, Clare Valley and Barossa. Meantime, residents of Echuca are on tenterhooks as the Murray continues to rise. The river could hit up to 95.2 metres today. Up to 700 people living on 250 properties in the area are being urged to evacuate as they could be isolated for up to 10 days. 75-year-old Merv Smith is among those who have chosen to stay.
I reckon I would have had 15 hours sleep in 5 days. And I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not winning, but I don't see any army or anybody come and help out.
More than $21 billion in savings will be announced in tomorrow's federal budget. Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
Over the past 5 months, Labor has undertaken an audit of spending by the previous coalition government. Federal Finance Minister Katie Gallagher says her department has already found more than $21 billion that will either be saved or redirected into other areas. For instance, some infrastructure projects will have their funding scrapped or reduced to pay for construction which is deemed more of a priority. Senator Gallagher claims savings have been identified across all government departments and will be outlined in tomorrow's budget.
In the UK, another development as the race to replace Liz Truss continues. Boris Johnson has announced he won't be officially putting his hand up to become the next Prime Minister. That leaves Rishi Sunak. Former Deputy PM Dominic Raab says he could become the next leader as early as tomorrow.
The critical issue here is going to be the economy. Rishi had the right plan in the summer, and I think it's the right plan now.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
There was a great cricket match last night, Tom Wren.
Unbelievable, Mel. One for the ages. Certainly a great atmosphere. Indian superstar Virat Kohli again underlining his status as one of the game's greats with a stunning unbeaten 82 to help guide his side home to a thrilling last ball win against Pakistan at a packed MCG in the T20 World Cup. India was 4 for 31, chasing 160 to win, but found a way home thanks to a brilliant effort from the 33-year-old. The World Cup continues today, with Bangladesh taking on the Netherlands. Well, Port Adelaide has fallen just short of a second win in the AFLW after going down by 2 points to St Kilda. The result leaves the Power in 17th place with one game to play against Essendon at Alberton on Sunday. The Crows will tackle the Saints, a win to cement their spot in the all-important top 4. To motorsport, Lewis Hamilton leads the American Formula One race late on with Max Verstappen hot on his heels. Carlos Sainz was in pole position but was forced to retire after a collision on the opening lap. The MotoGP season, meantime, will come down to the last race of the season in Valencia with Francesco Bagnaia in the box seat to claim his maiden world title. The 25-year-old taking out the Malaysian MotoGP, meaning he only needs 2 points in the final race of the season to claim the title.
Paco Bagnaia then is on course for victory here in the Malaysian Grand Prix, but the World Championship will roll on.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Aussie Jack Miller came 6th. Briefly elsewhere, Adelaide United's players will recover today following yesterday's 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. In baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies are closing in on making the World Series, currently leading the San Diego Padres 2-1 at the top of the 6th inning. The Phillies lead the best-of-7 series 3-1, and a win would see them make the World Series for the first time since 2009. Meantime, in the NFL, Tom Brady's frustrating seasons continued after his Tampa Bay Buccaneers were smashed 21-3 by the lowly Carolina Panthers, while the Dallas Cowboys' good season continued with a 24-6 point win against Detroit. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Christie Downs, got a smash on Wheatsheaf Road at Penalatinga Road. And Parangi, you'll find a burst water main this morning, Main North Road near Montague Road. While at Hackham, there's a sinkhole causing a few headaches, Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road. Speeds it out to 40 k's. Getting busy right now, Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North. Then we've got cameras Bevington Road at Glenunga and Penfold Road at Roslyn Park. Ultra Tune has been voted #1 for car servicing again, winning the 2022 CanStar Award for most satisfied customers for the 4th year. Call or search Ultra Tune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, a shower or two and 20 today, tomorrow a shower or two 19, Wednesday a shower or two 18. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Seven after 7, good morning to you. Top of 20 today. Shower or two, 1 to 4 mils, they're saying, but we had a bit of flooding up in the mid-north yesterday, flooding in the Riverland, so we'll see.
Flooding everywhere. Water everywhere and not a drop to drink. Hey, there's a terrific text here that I could not agree with more, because this is something, and I think clearly when we catch up with SAPOL, what Matt Brown said made perfect sense from a logistical point of view about the need to keep your wits about you to make sure that stuff doesn't get pinched. Having said that, though, the sentiments in this text on the Automasters text line are bang on. What a world when we have to plan our lives around criminals, not able to pull up in the driveway and throw the keys on the kitchen counter. There's a huge amount of truth in that. And, you know, I think that there's, I'm sure that SAPOL are all over this, but I mentioned knowing somebody who was woken up at the crack of dawn by the sound of people who had jumped their fence and they were trying to make off with their car. There has been a whole bunch of these incidents that have happened in South Australia, and anecdotally it sounds like the same people are doing it. And this feeds into the issues that police are on the record as describing as of concern, with a hardcore of Sudanese kids who are out there causing all sorts of strife.
We have Police Commissioner this Wednesday in studio. I've already pre-warned him that this is precisely what we want to chat about.
Yeah.
I don't want to say good timing, but good timing. It's got to come to a head at some point.
Absolutely, and equally too, the pub robbery this morning. That's the same group of Indigenous people who've been running around causing all sorts of mayhem. And you know, I don't know why when it comes to the way we describe people who have committed these offences, we talk about people being of Caucasian appearance. So let's just cut to the chase and call it for what it is. You know, if it's not a question of vilifying any group, it's a question of identifying the suspect so that you can best apprehend them. It's part of the description. So let's have a bit more candour around these things, I think.
That's right. Some more news of the day. I would like to recap this shark attack from the weekend. 19-year-old Nat Drummond. He was in the water. A great white shark appeared, took a bite out of his surf ski. Now, Nat's dad, Murray, is going to join us after 8:30 this morning. Nat is understandably quite busy, not physically recovering, probably more so emotionally. He wasn't hurt, thankfully.
He's in better nick than his surf ski, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Here he is on 9 News last night.
Well, my mum and dad were straight to me as soon as I got to the beach and just gave him a big hug. My ski just kind of lift above the water, and then next thing I knew, I was in the air, and I was in the water, and I saw this figure just kind of fall back into the water, and it was a big shark. I immediately just ripped my leg rope off, and I swam towards these guys here who were paddling towards me, thankfully, and then just jumped on their craft and pulled me out the water to safety.
So Nathaniel's dad, Murray, on after 8:30 this morning. Now, a man by the name of Wayne Jones, he was a witness to the whole incident. He was on Graham Gooding's afternoon show yesterday.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a scary event, something that we don't expect to happen. I mean, we've been paddling for 30, 40 years on the water and never experienced anything like this. So this is something that's really out of the norm, completely out of the norm.
Probably a bit of a shock for Wayne. He's the SA paddle race organiser, and he's had to organise the entire event, now had to witness a youngster get attacked by a shark.
I might buy a lottery ticket, Nat Drummond said, $160 million Powerball, although he might have used up all his luck for this week.
Well, they say good things come in threes.
Well, that's
so,
right.
you know, maybe surviving a shark attack and walking away uninjured counts for 2.
I tell you what, though, you just look at the photograph of what remains of the surf ski, and it is extraordinary, the width of the jaws on the thing. Okay, just sort of thinking about it in the context of it's a bit narrower than a kayak, but
Like less than a metre.
yeah, but that's the width of the jaws of the fish.
Yeah, that's right. The
that is
jaws is the exact width.
That is a BBF, a bloody big fish.
That's right.
And certainly quite bracing for those of us who like having a quiet paddle.
Lucky to be alive. Seacliff Beach is closed today. A decision will be made today on when to reopen the beach.
Why do we close beaches?
I think
it's like Amity in Jaws.
Yeah, but the shark hasn't been seen. So that's what they're trying to determine, is if it was definitively a great white shark, how big it is, etc.
It's not like sharks hang around in the same spot, is it?
I think they do sometimes.
Do they?
I'm no shark expert
Hey,
by any means.
how's this, Lee? Speaking about brushes with nature, this is life imitating art, life imitating journalism. After 2 days after we have Rowie Barrel on the show, Saturday afternoon, my daughter's boyfriend James came down to Aldinga and was helping me weed. He did 4 solid hours, paid him the appropriate going rate. But it's a pretty sunny day, and there's a lot of overgrown kikuyu that's made its way into the garden bed.
I hope he had gloves and long socks on.
We had everything on. So we were down there together, and I was just about to start weeding out the front. And he said, we're just going to knock off this sort of scrubby bit here. Anyway, he stuck his hand in, brown snake. Actually, like, right next to his hand, except it was a brand new little bubba brown snake.
They're more dangerous.
But where's its mum? That's what I want to know.
But so baby brown snakes, if they bite you, they can't control their venom output. So they just keep going, I believe. That's why they're considered more dangerous. But you're right. The bigger question is, where's its angry mum?
I know. So that put an end to the weeding process.
Yeah,
quick, smart.
I mean, I'm sure.
But I was thinking, so that's Saturday afternoon. Do I ring Rowie and say,
yeah,
we found a snake 3 days ago?
Oh, no.
It could be anywhere now.
I wonder if Rowie was the one who got the call out to the office works with that brown snake.
Noongar. What about that?
Again,
that was extraordinary.
Nature imitating journalism.
That's right.
To more natural events. Of course, town of Lismore is facing yet another flooding crisis. Some locals have been told to prepare to evacuate again. Regional New South Wales are facing a very dangerous 48 hours ahead. Some 100 members of the Defence Force have been sent to Lismore, plus SES volunteers. They've been door-knocking those most at risk as the Wilson River rises. The river in Lismore is expected to peak at 9.7 metres tomorrow afternoon. That is a metre below the levee, I believe. Here is the Lismore Mayor.
You're good at putting on a brave face, but the emotions really are just bubbling below the surface, and it won't take much to break this town.
And here's Andrew Cribb from the New South Wales SES.
Well, obviously the low pressure system started to affect the northern rivers yesterday. Overnight we had significant rainfalls of around 150 mils across the catchment. Post other events and coming into this event, the SES have been working very closely with the community to make sure that they understand where they sit and what the consequences of anything may be coming forward. We're currently watching that situation as it currently stands, but we are still predicting up to moderate flooding. The actual impacts of that are yet to be seen. The river is meant to peak later on today, late today. And at the moment that is still saying that it's a moderate flood. So we have several warnings out.
That was on the Nines Today show. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I feel for Lismore. I feel for that whole area. I feel for everyone in Victoria.
Well,
and
it's
the
going to keep
Riverland.
going because the rain forecasts are such that we're going to be getting more of it. And as we were saying at the start of the show, who knows what the impact will be 6 to 8 weeks' time when, the immutable law of physics, what goes up must come down, plays out on the downstream part of the river here in South Australia.
Fun fact about me, you're learning all these little loosey facts over the next few days while Will's away. Physics and I do not match. I could never get it.
Same.
Could never wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
And I was so determined to be good at it that I dismally failed at it and was not even shocked that I failed at it. Just couldn't get it.
It used to be the sort of the really solid, I'm serious about getting a classical education sort of subject lineup back in the ancient period, at least when doing Year 12 was known as matriculating, and it was out of 500. Each subject was 100 points. But you always knew the real smart kids, Maths 1, Maths 2, English, Physics, Chemistry.
Yeah, I was...
That was the I'm serious.
I
was one of them
English.
too. I was English.
I have a blue Christmas without you. And I'll be so...
No, that is not Elvis. As Jimmy Barnes.
Is that Barnesy?
That is
Are
Barnesy.
you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. Raised in Adelaide, of course, Adelaide's own. Oh, he was born in Glasgow, raised here, so we'll claim him.
Oh, he's ours.
He's
Elizabeth's.
He's
Jimmy
Elizabeth's
Barnes. First, then South Australia's second, then Australia's third.
2005 inductee into the ARIA Hall of Fame, but he has never ever released a Christmas album until this year.
Yeah, right.
It is out on November 25th.
A Christmas album. Tell you what, geez, you think back to, Shipping Steel and all those wild gigs that Chisel did in the day. The idea of Barnesy back then doing a Christmas album was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
That's right. Here he is doing Blue Christmas. He says he told the Advertiser over the weekend he loves the Elvis song, obviously, but the reason I called the record, it's called Blue Christmas, is because we're not surrounded by snow in Australia. It's normally blue skies and sea.
Yeah, good.
Valid point.
On your Barnesy.
On your Barnesy. It's nice, isn't it? Let's just play it out till the traffic.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Had no idea it was him. I thought it was Elvis when you started playing it.
No, he does a pretty good cover.
Yeah, I'll say.
Out on November 25th, Jimmy Barnes' new Christmas album. Now let's get to your traffic. Don't miss out. Exclusive townhouses are now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address. Visit 88 O'Connell.
Thanks, Lucy. At Christie Downs, we've got a smash on Wheatsheaf Road at Panelatinga Road. Paraki, you'll find a burst water main this morning, Main North Road near Montague Road. While at Hackham, we've got a sinkhole causing a few headaches, Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road, speeds at out of 40 k's. At Trott Park, broken down bus slowing things up this morning, Ocean Boulevard at Majors Road, with a camera to keep an eye out for today, Boothby Street at Clapham. Burbank Homes is proud to support local trades. If you're a carpenter and want to work with a reputable quality builder who values their loyal trade partners, contact Burbank 8201 0000. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here, Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. Foodland.
You're watching the 5AA live stream, thanks to Foodland.
The mighty South Aussies, yeah.
Now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address, 88 O'Connell. Your prestigious new apartment comes with so much to adore. A ground floor marketplace with bar and dining, pools and gymnasium, retail shopping on your doorstep, and just a short stroll to the city. Apartments are selling fast. Secure yours. Visit 88o'connell.com.
Save up to $30,000 on premium upgrades when you build with Rivergum Homes. Choose from up to 27 quality options and upgrade your home and your life with stylish kitchen appliances and stone veg tops, home automation, premium flooring, and a solar energy pack with EV charger. But for a limited time only. Go to rivergumhomes.com.au or visit any of our displays at Seaford, Parafield, Anglevale, Playford Alive or Mount Barker. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't just send it, ace it.
It's not just your deliveries that ASIC Couriers look after. They're also proud supporters of the community. Chris, tell us more.
That's right, Rowie. At ASIC Couriers, we're proud supporters of over 16 sporting clubs. We also work with and support the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation to strive for a happy and positive workplace. By supporting us, you're also supporting the community.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given motorists a clear view of the road ahead with their 24-hour windscreen repair and replacement service. No one does it better than Hayden and Lindsay Dean at Complete Windscreens, which is the very reason you should tell your insurer you want Complete Windscreens on the job. You deserve the best, most reliable and cheapest. CompleteWindscreen.com.au.
Kate Collins and Brenton Raglas, the faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
$7:21. We're going to chat sport shortly with Stephen Rowe. But also this week we are celebrating Adelaide Exposed Concrete, our 5AA Business of the Week. For a beautiful exposed aggregate driveway, it's got to be Adelaide Exposed Concrete, best on ground all year round. Now they are sponsoring our 5AA Golf Day, of course, which no doubt Stephen Rowe is participating in. He's going to be broadcasting the drive show with Timmy from Glenelg Golf Club.
I'm having massive doubts about this day, Luce. I played on Friday, and apart from somehow miraculously on the 18th hole at Wollonga, a very long par 4, I was on the green in 2, less than a metre from the pin. I sconed my drive with a 3-wood, then a 6-iron. I thought, where's the ball gone? I think, surely it's, hang on, must be here. No, that's not in on the green, is it? It was on the green. I was on for a birdie putt.
And how did that work out for you?
Well, I managed to 3-putt it. So I got a bogey. But that was the only respectable hole I had the entire time. I just think next Monday is going to be an unmitigated disaster at Glenelg.
But your club's made contact with the ball up in the air. It's the main thing. That is the main thing.
I just think it's going to be a day of humiliation. I just hope the people who go are understanding. I'm sure they will be.
It's precisely why I'm not heading along. Enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota on a Toyota certified pre-owned car at North Point Toyota. Good morning to you, Rowie.
Pembo and Lucy, yes, good morning. I know the Naga Award is a fishing charter with me for 4, so there'll be sticks thrown, there'll be all sorts, Pembo. Don't
good.
worry.
That's
it's
good,
not
mate.
Very serious.
Excellent.
You can't win it. But I'm looking forward to Timmy back. He's back this week. He's had a great holiday, and I know our listeners have been looking forward to him getting back. But I'll start here with our own goal by the netballers. Trending now is go woke, go broke. I don't have a lot of sympathy for the Diamonds team, nor their admin. They absolutely botched this. We know that. And you know what? Good on Gina Reinhardt and her executive. I hope she becomes a beacon of power for other companies and Australians that are like-minded. Lucy, you play netball. I had a good chat to my daughter Gemma. She's played for Grange United since 5, for the same team. All she was concerned about, she doesn't care about the top end because she just loves the game. The girls were playing, love the game. She just said, I just hope, Dad, my fees don't go up.
You know what? I was having this chat with my netball friend Hannah the other day. We play in 2 teams together during the week, and I've forked out, this is just for social netball, 2 different associations. I reckon it's $500 before the season's even started.
You're kidding?
Yeah, which I don't mind. I love playing, and I pay for the uniform, and we pay every week to get into Edsa Park. And it is just for the love of the game. But I feel the same as your Gemma, Rowie. I do hope the fees don't go up, but I just would love it to remain a grassroots sport, and it's just a really, really great game.
Yeah, look, it is, and it'll always be that, a participation game. I know if I go to watch Gemma, it's $15 for me to get in.
Yeah.
Isn't there a broader issue here, though, Rowie, which is the extent to which, at the whim of, in some cases, just one athlete. I mean, I actually sort of wonder whether, in a broader sense, you could call it hostility. The hostility that Pat Cummins, as the Australian Test captain, has shown towards Alinta Energy. I mean, I presume that Pat Cummins has got light switches and light bulbs in his house. I presume that he's got an air conditioner. But for him to make it clear that he regards Alinta as so morally repugnant that they feel like they're now effectively shamed out of sponsoring the national cricket team, I think that the environment now for any corporate, aside from maybe, I don't know, I mean, well, okay, you can't have gambling companies, you can't have alcohol companies, you can't have mining companies, you can't have energy companies. Who's going to be left? Yeah. And then the hilarity is, some people say, well, maybe governments could do the sponsorship. Well, I'll tell you where governments derive most of their income: mining royalties and company tax.
Yeah, exactly right. Here's the cautionary tale for me, and Cricket Australia be wise, and AFL clubs to speak to their, their players and maybe send a memo, who pays your wages type of thing. But for me, it's about respect. I don't know, tolerance. Sometimes you need to know your place, and the young folk don't. Working with an organisation and not against it. I've got a beacon of light here. I'm going to give you an example. Bashir Hooli, a devout Muslim, played over 200 games in the AFL, 3 flags, become a leader of his people in an AFL environment. He's got a foundation to guide young Muslim men and women through the AFL with everything that is with that. And the Muslim faith, very similar to maybe the Catholic faith, with what they like and what they don't like and what they tolerate and what they don't. Now, if he can show respect to the game shows respect to him. He can play with all the sponsors and things that they do. Why can't the rest of us? So he's clearly said to himself, yep, okay, some of my beliefs are against the principles or morals of an AFL or an organisation, but you know what I'm going to do? I like the pay packet. I love playing footy, so I'll have tolerance, show tolerance, and I'll get around it. Why can't we all do that? Do you agree?
Yeah, I do, and I think, though, that, some people have said that Hancock has sort of, Gina Reinhardt has cracked it and said, I'm just not going to have my name dragged through the mud by an organisation that now looks ungrateful. $15 million is not small change, and I think the precedent has now been set.
Yep, good on it. India, Pakistan last night. If ever you thought we weren't multicultural, 100,000 there, that was just unbelievable. Australia lost to New Zealand, we stuck it up. But today it's going to be about this. Surprise, surprise. Ross Lyon, the second coming, he's going to land as St Kilda's coach. I think it's lunch cut number 2. He did it at FIVEAA. He's done it here. That won't age well. Yeah, good on you, big fella. All the best, because it's going to end in tears. Boom. Boom. That's my prediction. End in tears. Boom.
More on your show tonight.
After 4. See you guys.
No doubt tonight, 4 o'clock. Thank you, Rowie. Enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota on a Toyota certified pre-owned car at North Point Toyota. Back, we're actually talking tennis. We're continuing the sport chat, but another self-indulgent chat I've organised. Tennis.
I predicted this would happen, right?
Yeah.
So we have a tennis segment every day next week, and sure enough.
Or animal.
Yes.
Tennis or animal. More coming up after the 7:30 news.
I'm Kathy Nagel, Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Chronic diseases may cause heart and vascular conditions that, left untreated, can cost you your life. Western Hospital offers a wide range of cardiology and vascular interventions which may prevent disease and could help prolong your life. Interventions range from cardiovascular health checks to diagnostic interventions like angiogram and stenting. For more information, visit westernhospital.com.au or phone 8159 1200 to arrange a referral.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Last month we spoke about the best new laptop of 2022, HP's Envy X360. Well, it just got better. Harvey Norman has added a special new bonus. Not only do you get a 2-for-1 device that has a flip screen to make it more like a tablet, and fast, reliable computing with 16 gig of RAM and a 512 gig solid-state drive. On top of all these incredible specs, you'll also score a bonus $300 Harvey Norman gift card. The perfect excuse to grab some accessories or even treat yourself to a new coffee machine. All yours with a beautifully designed HP Envy, available now at Harvey Norman for only $1,999.
Check out this great offer at 5AA.com.au. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or 2 and 20 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Pirie Street, Norwood, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
A staff member was punched in the face during a hotel robbery at Mile End overnight. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the offenders fled on foot.
Just before 12:30am today, police were called to a hotel on Henley Beach Road after 2 men entered the premises and stole alcohol. And the pair was confronted as they tried to leave the hotel, and they assaulted a staff member by punching him in the face. The men fled on foot and were last seen heading towards Taylor's Lane.
The hunt for the offenders is continuing. A shark attack at Seacliff is being described as a freak occurrence. It happened late yesterday morning. Nat Drummond was on a surf ski. He's told Nine about the close encounter with what's believed to be a great white.
My ski just kind of lift above the water, and then next thing I knew, I was in the air, and I was in the water, and I saw this figure just kind of fall back into the water, and it's a big shark.
The shark ripped a hole in the surf ski. The 19-year-old took off his leg rope and was rescued by fellow paddlers. He wasn't hurt, but plans on staying out of the water for a week or so. The Albanese government is preparing to hand down its first budget tomorrow. The Prime Minister says it will be a responsible economic blueprint, with the government fully aware that while cost of living pressures need to be addressed, it can't be adding to inflation woes.
So cheaper childcare, cheaper healthcare costs, paid parental leave, the national broadband network and other infrastructure investment, all aimed at areas that will boost productivity, boost the economy, and therefore be able to provide that assistance to people without putting pressure on inflation.
Nearly 1.5 million households are without electricity in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. The country's president says Russia is attacking the energy grid. Volodymyr Zelensky says energy has been restored in some areas, but he's urging citizens to conserve power where they can.
Together, we are now showing that Ukrainian life cannot be broken. Even if the enemy can leave us temporarily without power, it will never succeed in leaving us without the desire to make things right, to mend and return them to normal. And even now, partially in the dark, life in our Ukraine is still civilised.
Climate protesters are targeting artwork again. This time they've thrown mashed potatoes at a Monet in a German museum to protest fossil fuel extraction. And Dwayne Johnson is the king of the US box office. Black Adam was #1 over the weekend, making $67 million. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
And some breaking news, Tom Wren.
Yeah, there certainly is, Mel. Red Bull's Max Verstappen has sealed the 2022 Formula One driver and constructor championships by taking out the US Grand Prix in Texas. Verstappen took the lead from Lewis Hamilton with 6 laps remaining, racing home to win back-to-back titles. Speaking on his team radio after the win, he's paid tribute to late Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz.
Yeah, I was a bit upset, but I just keep pushing. And congrats, guys. What an amazing season to win also the constructors. You guys really deserve it.
Yeah, great effort there from Max Verstappen. Audio thanks to Fox Sports. Well, Port Adelaide has gone down to St Kilda and still only has the 1 win for the season with 1 match left to play in the year. The Crows are sitting in 3rd spot after round 9 after beating Geelong on Friday night. To cricket, India has opened its T20 World Cup campaign with a dramatic 4-wicket win against Pakistan at a packed MCG. Ravi Ashwin with the winning runs off the final ball. To netball, the Diamonds have come from 2 games down to level the Constellation Cup and claim the series. A 57-53 win over the Silver Ferns on the Gold Coast has seen Australia win on aggregate. Player of the match, Steph Wood, has told Fox Sports they had to dig deep after returning across the Tasman 2 games behind.
It's probably a position we haven't been in before, but I think it was great for this group to, have to dig deep and look at ourselves and know that we weren't at the standard we wanted to be.
Adelaide United is still searching for its first win of the A-League season following a controversial 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. The Reds had Hiroshi Ibasuku sent off deep in the first half, many labelling it a disgraceful decision. Meantime, in English Premier League action, Newcastle has upset Tottenham 2-1. Southampton held Arsenal to a 1-1 draw. Aston Villa smashed Brentford 4-0. Leicester also 4-0 winners against Wolverhampton, while Fulham got over Leeds 3-2. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Christie Downs, look out for a smash this morning. Wheatsheaf Road at Panelatinga Road. At Paraka, got a burst water main this morning. Main North Road near Montague Road. At Hackham, you find a sinkhole causing a few delays. That's Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road. And Trot Park, broken down bus slowing things up on Ocean Boulevard at Majors Road. Keep an eye for cameras. Raglan Avenue, Edwardstown and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. Ultra Tuners won the CanStar Car Servicing Award for customer satisfaction and value for money for the 4th year running. Call or search Australia's #1 Ultra Tune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, a top of 20 today with a shower or 2. Tomorrow a shower or 2, 19. Wednesday a shower or 2, 18. 18 again on Thursday with a possible shower. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Are you ready to try new interests and activities or enjoy some old ones? With Live Up, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 to find and connect with local community groups to suit you. So if you're ready to keep up, show up and step up, then join up. Discover more at liveup.org.au. Live Up. Welcome to the upside of ageing.
Well, they've gotten us out of trouble, helped us fall in love and been there for some of our best moments, and you can even eat them, I believe.
Apparently so. Luce, we're talking about roses, one of the most beloved flowers in the world. This is going to be great for garden enthusiasts, rose lovers. The Adelaide International Rose and Garden Expo is coming to celebrate these stunning blooms.
For a few days, the Adelaide Convention Centre will come to life with vibrant roses, flowers, plants, gardening products and more. You'll be surrounded by thousands and thousands of roses on display.
Plus, you'll be able to catch some fascinating talks from the experts and bring the kids along for some free activities on Saturday and Sunday.
So gather your fellow green thumbs for the Adelaide International Rose and Garden Expo, Adelaide Convention Centre this Friday to Sunday. Tickets are $20 with children under 14 free. Book at roseexpo.au or purchase at the door. That's roseexpert.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you. Don't forget you can contribute to the program this morning. Text in on the Automasters text line 0448 08 1395 or send in your comments on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, all thanks to Foodland Supermarkets. Now, I mentioned there will be a few self-indulgent bookings these next few days while I'm here. We've got Emily.
That's fair enough, Luce.
Emily Smith, the Tournament Director of the Playford International on the line. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Lucy. How are you going?
Very, very well, thank you. I'm excited. I love when tennis season comes around. And the Playford International, though, usually you're probably expecting bright, sunny weather. I hear you got rained out yesterday.
We did, unfortunately. Yes, it was a bit of a slow start yesterday. We didn't get on court at all. So we've got a big day of qualifying matches coming up today, hopefully, once the sun comes out.
You've got lots of Aussies in the mix. Well-known one, of course, Luke Saville, both men's and women's. When does it all sort of wrap up? Is it a 5-day full tournament?
It's a 7-day tournament, so the final will be on Sunday, this coming Sunday, with matches from 11 a.m. But yeah, Luke is the first on court this morning for his first round qualifying match, so he'll be on centre court at 10 a.m. this morning out at the Playford Tennis Centre.
Do most of these players use this as a pre-Aussie Open warm-up? There's still a few months to go. I have already purchased my Aussie Open tickets, of course, but is this one of the first sort of lead-in matches to the qualifiers?
Yeah, absolutely. This tournament, we've got a really strong Aussie field, as you mentioned, in both the men's and women's, and that's because it's the first tournament. A lot of the players have come back to Australia and will remain here sort of all the way through to the end of January. So, yeah, it's definitely the start of a build-up for a lot of these players, and we're hoping that they have some really good success all the way through summer.
Where and when do people come along and watch this week?
Absolutely. So it's free entry for spectators. Anyone's welcome to come along to attend, and the tournament's held at the Playford Tennis Centre. And yeah, main draw action will be kicking off tomorrow. So we'll have James Duckworth, Jordan Thompson and Lee Chu in action on the men's side. And on the women's side, we'll have Priscilla Hahn, Madison Inglis and Jamie Fowler. So some really top-name Aussies who will be hitting the court tomorrow. And they'll be playing every day, hopefully, if the weather holds off through until Sunday.
Excellent. Now, my final exciting question is the Adelaide International. Is it coming back in January at Memorial Drive?
Look, we're really planning a really big summer of tennis across Australia. We're hoping to make some really exciting announcements at some stage soon.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Emily. Looking forward to hearing how it all goes.
No worries. Thanks, Lucy.
Thanks.
I tell you what, Luce, the one tennis match I'm getting extremely excited about, and I hope this comes off, is Henry Young v. Leonid Stanislavski from Ukraine.
Surely Tom Wren will be commentating it.
Well, hopefully he will be, because there's a chance it might actually be played as a curtain raiser at the Australian Open.
Oh.
I know that Peter Malinauskas wrote to Dan Andrews about it a couple of months ago to get it on the Victorian Premier's radar, and it's all sort of in the lap of Tennis Australia right now, hopefully with a bit of involvement from DFAT, but it would just be the greatest thing ever, see those two legendary blokes who are only a couple of years off cracking the ton themselves out there in the middle with their rackets. It's a great sport, tennis, because you can keep playing it very much into your autumn years.
Definitely. It's just, I mean, I'm biased because I absolutely love it. I come from a tennis family, but I'm just very, very excited now that we've hit summer.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
My cousin is fortunate enough to be a ball boy at the Australian Open again this coming season, and he just makes the old end cut-off, but he's already about 6'1". He's going to be the tallest teenage ball boy out there.
So do you try to go to the Australian Open every year?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been.
Only sort of in my high school years. I didn't go a lot as a kid, but my grandma and my mum used to go every year.
Yeah, right.
The last plane trip I went on was the Melbourne Australian Open of January 2020. Last time I was on a plane was to the Oz Open.
Yeah, right.
But that all changes this weekend. You and I are off to Sydney on
we
Saturday.
We are, for the ACRA Awards.
How exciting.
Where we get to watch 5AA Breakfast Show come second to Ross and John.
Well, Ross and Russell.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Melbourne crew changed names. I think we're in with a good shot.
It's hard to keep track of who's on radio these days.
I think we're in with
Well,
a
not
good
so much
shot.
at 5AA.
No.
We know that Will's coming back. It's not necessarily the case at pretty much every other station in town.
Breaking news, Will may or may not be coming back.
Hey, that's our rumour start.
A couple of texts on the Automasters text line. One here about the sports comment from Peter. Guys, why should sports people have to choose between morals and playing for your country? If you're prepared to sacrifice a portion of your pay to not wear a logo, why can't you?
Another one here from Peter. Don't be surprised if Andrew Forrest is more involved in sports sponsorship, as he's actually trying to do his bit to save the planet and generally has good relations with First Nations people. Well, that's true, Peter, kind of. He did dig up large parts of Western Australia with Chinese money in order to make his billions, but he's a force for moral purity now. Scott from Modbury too, who should actually, aside from his day job as a frequent and excellent texter to the 5AA Breakfast Show, showing he's got potential to become a sort of Anthony Robbins-style motivational speaker with this text. Pembo, the words respectable hole and 3-putt from a metre have never collided in the mouth of a golfer in human history. Just remember on the golf day, no matter how bad your shot, we've all done it. And the true beauty of golf is that for one shot you can be as good as the best in the world. Good luck, buddy. I hope we get to hear about a huge highlight reel after you play. I don't think it's going to be too huge a highlight reel, Scott, but hopefully we'll have at least 1 or 2 highlights in it.
God, if that's not the best ever rev-up you've ever had,
I
don't know what is.
What about that? See the ball, be the ball.
Scott from Modbury should have jumped on our Nord Flames hype team.
See the ball, be the ball. At least that comes from the movie Caddyshack. See, I've got this little thing.
Added.
It's running for the entire fortnight we're doing the show together. It says, films Lucy must watch.
Yep.
So Caddyshack gets added to the list, which as of Friday stood at Pulp Fiction and Rosemary's Baby. So there you go.
You'll be unsurprised to hear that I didn't watch either of those films, but that's all right. Plenty of time in the fortnight for me to get to that. We are now going to head to the SES State Duty Officer. Brenton Clark is on duty this morning. Good morning to you, Brenton.
Good morning.
Now, there were nearly 100 call-outs over the weekend. I'm not sure if that was just Sunday alone, but the SES was kept pretty busy in our regional areas.
Oh, it certainly has. I mean, across the state yesterday, we had 167 requests for assistance. Majority of those were in the Riverlane area. There was 98 in Riverlane. 70 of those were in the Renmark area itself. And also a number of calls, up to about 48 calls in the mid-north areas, which started obviously yesterday morning.
So your flood watch, mostly you're concerned about, is still Renmark?
The Renmark, obviously, we've had is still some flooding around on the roads in that location. Thankfully, our crews worked through to just after midnight, got through all those calls, and we've actually had crews just on standby in the area overnight. Haven't been any calls overnight, but obviously as people sort of wake up, we're expecting some further calls today.
Have there been any discussions, Brett? We were saying earlier how with all of the water that we're seeing entering the river system in the eastern states, it's all going to have to turn up here at some point. And there seems to be sort of, ever-changing predictions about what the likely impact for South Australia could be. Do you guys expect that in sort of 6 to 8 weeks' time, there's a potential that it could become an issue here as that water makes its way downstream?
I suppose with that, and that's one of the reasons we are preparing early, and we are starting to get the messaging out for the Murray River. Obviously, we're well aware of the significant rainfalls that have occurred in the eastern states, and it is flowing into the Murray River. So our early communication and advice to those areas along the Murray, as it has been occurring in recent times, is yes, we are expecting some water, and we are doing some preparatory work and communicating, working with the councils and to the public about what's occurring, and we'll be ramping up the messaging, in the next few weeks as well. We are expecting the waters to rise. What levels which you get to, that's the advice we'll be getting from SA Water, Department of Environment and Water, and obviously the council areas as well. We'll be working together to just determine what kind of impacts there may be, and we'll keep on that communication and messaging to the public about what
it all means. Yeah,
what it all means. Is probably just one of those unknowns as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're sort of like trying to keep on top as much as possible. And of course, what sort of other weather events do occur as well. And obviously, we've over this weekend we've had a couple significant weather cells that have sort of like passed through. So they're always going to impact the catchment and river areas.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Brenton,
Cheers,
for your
Brenton.
time this morning. No doubt you'll be busy over the next, month to 6 weeks in the Riverland and Mid-North especially. Checking your drive into work this morning. Don't miss out. Exclusive townhouses are now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address. Visit 88 O'Connell.
Thanks, Lucy. At Paraka, look out for a burst water main this morning, Main North Road near Montague Road. At Hackham, you find a sinkhole causing headaches, Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road, it's down to 40 k's, while at Trop Park, broken down buses slowing things up on Ocean Boulevard at Mazers Road. Starting to get busy, Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North, and look out for cameras today, Caulfield Avenue, Cumberland Park, and Coopert Road at Colonelite Gardens. Ultratune has won the CanStar Car Servicing Award for Customer Satisfaction and Value for Money for the 4th year running. Call or search Australia's #1 Ultratune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Don't just send it, ace it.
It's not just your deliveries that ASA Couriers look after. They're also proud supporters of the community. Chris, tell us more.
That's right, Rowie. At ASIC Couriers, we're proud supporters of over 16 sporting clubs. We also work with and support the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation to strive for a happy and positive workplace. By supporting us, you're also supporting the community.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Hi, Susanna Toop here from Toop & Toop. $450,000. That's the average price of an investment property in Adelaide. It's also the value of the asset you are trusting your property manager with. As a director and CEO of Toop & Toop Property Management and a lawyer, looking after your property is my team and I's sole focus, and we take this responsibility very seriously. Building long-term relationships with our clients is really important to us. Who are you trusting to look after your biggest investment? toop.com.au.
Having a Rainwise pool installed is more than an investment in your property. It is a huge investment in your lifestyle. Nothing beats having friends and family around for a summer of fun poolside.
Absolutely, that's right, Luce. We went with Rainwise Pools, best decision we've ever made, and we did it because they're just so good at what they do. And also, though, this is very important, Rainwise, they're a local family business with family values at the core of everything they do, and it means that you're guaranteed to have an exceptional experience like we did.
Rainwise stock Adelaide's largest range of Conquest fiberglass pools. Conquest have been around for over 50 years, so you know you're getting a quality product installed by the award-winning construction team at Rainwise.
And look, if you speak with Rainwise this month to organise your pool, they'll even throw in free pool heating. Now, it's for October only, so act now for free heating with your Rainwise pool. Some terms and conditions apply. Check out their website, rainwisepoolsadelaide.com.au.
Hey Strikers fans, Peter Siddle here for what promises to be an action-packed BBL season. I can't wait to get back in the Strikers blue this summer, and there's no better sound than the roar of a full Adelaide Oval crowd as some poor batter's stumps go flying. Tickets are on sale now with early bird pricing set to end on Monday the 21st of November. Visit adelaidestrikers.com.au and I look forward to seeing you back at Adelaide Oval this summer.
Please don't hold this against me, but if bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens is not your thing, well, that's that's okay. I mean, if people gushing over your new kitchen and bathroom means nothing to you, nothing at all, that's completely fine, I guess. But if you do appreciate millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, start here. Buyurban.com.au. Adelaide's home renovation experts.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you. It's just gone 10 to 8. Will, of course, having a few very well-deserved days of paternity leave with his new daughter, Rosie.
Yep. Wonder how many nappies he's done.
I wonder if he can do it one-handed yet. There's a challenge.
One-handed. Well, it's 8 a day with a newborn, roughly.
Good Lord, is it really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
I love talking about baby stuff. I have all this to look forward to at some point.
Oh, yes, you do, Luce. You learn all these new words like lanugo hair, things like that. It's the little downy, fluffy hair that babies are born with.
Gorgeous. I hope Will and Alison are having a lovely, lovely maternity and paternity experience so far.
Judging from the beaming photograph that they put out the other day, I'm sure that they are. It's a very special time.
Yes, we'll be back in a few days looking after gorgeous little Rosie. Coming up after 8 o'clock this morning, we are heading over to Lismore. We heard they're in a bit of strife once again with the floods, and also the Health Minister, Chris Picton, will join us.
It's amazing, that story. It's amazing in so many ways. The fact that this robbery happened just before the crack of dawn, and the mum and the 9-year-old chased the guys down the street there in Young Street, Unley. Although their experience at the hospital, and look, I'm not trying to pretend that the Malinowskis government doesn't have its work cut out on the ramping score. And we've quite deliberately and aggressively prosecuted the fact that the last 4 months of figures, and remember, this was their number one election promise, they were going to fix ramping. The last 4 months have been the absolute worst in the entire history of South Australia. Well, it's early days, but they said they were going to fix it. But having said that, any parent who's been to the Women's and Children's Hospital knows that if your child is not at death's door, inevitably, you can end up waiting for hours because there's other kids in there who actually are at death's door. Like our son, Sam, he smashed his face, cut his jaw, his chin on a piece of furniture about a year or so ago, a couple of years ago now. And from memory, because I was at a work thing that night, Kate took him in a hospital at about 8, and he got finally treated. Like they look at all the kids straight away to triage them, to work out who's in the most need. He didn't actually get the stitches, the glue put on his chin until 5 a.m. Now, I reckon that happens all the time at the Women's and Children's, and it sort of makes sense. You know,
Yep.
You've got to look after the kids who are actually having a major breathing issue,
Yes.
or a chest pain,
Yes.
or kids have already got some pre-existing condition. The argument, though, I think, is that maybe the hospital, given that this poor kid had actually been stabbed and they had plenty of other stuff going on in their life, there's an argument that, well, actually, let's shuffle them up to the top of the queue as fast as we can. But in a pure medical sense, triage is an unemotional assessment of people based on their immediate health risk. And a small cut to your hand means you're the bottom of the queue.
That's it.
Anyway, Chris Pickman coming up after 8 o'clock.
Let's head to Blakey. Call Aussie Fast Transport Solutions for interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers on 13 13 64.
Welcome to Mastermind. Could we have our first contestant, please? Please state your name and occupation.
John Trentbeck, social analyst.
Your special subject, the inequality and sexism of the two exclusive members-only clubs in Adelaide. And your time starts now. Why is the Adelaide Club sexist?
Because it doesn't allow female members.
Correct. Why is the Queen Adelaide Club fantastic?
Because it's filled with women who are so much better than men.
Correct. What sort of men become members of the Adelaide Club?
Misogynist snobs.
Correct. What sort of women become members of the Queen Adelaide Club?
Sweet, non-discriminatory paragons of virtue.
Correct. What are the main differences between the two clubs?
The Queen Adelaide Club has interesting walks, theatre excursions, bridge nights and trips away, and the Adelaide Club members just sit around drinking port and smoking cigars.
Correct. Why was there no reaction to the Queen Adelaide Club demolishing 2 of its heritage-listed buildings?
Because they can do no wrong.
Correct. What would the reaction have been if the Adelaide Club had done the same thing?
Outrage, unanimous condemnation and calls for a parliamentary inquiry.
Correct. What is the reaction to a former Premier of the state trying to join the Adelaide Club?
It's a disgrace.
Correct. What is the reaction to a woman of any persuasion joining the Queen Adelaide Club?
Fantastic idea, real chance for a sensible exchange of ideas, couldn't do better.
Correct, and after round 1 you have a perfect score. Join us again next time for Mastermind.
John Blake, everyone. We've got Susanna Toop on the line for our Toop and Toop Real Estate Wrap. Good morning, Susanna. How was your weekend?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Lucy and David. We had a handful of auctions. I'll just rattle them off because another really great weekend. A lot of people out looking at property despite the weather was pretty average, but no, definitely a lot of buyers still out looking at property. So just to a handful of auctions, we had a great result in Norwood, a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom cottage on around 485 square metres sold for $1,070,000. And in Melrose Park, a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom, cream brick home on just under 700 square metres in pretty original condition. It sold for $850,000. And our property managers leased a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Hove for $700 a week and a 1-bedroom unit in North Adelaide for $360 a week. So some great results right across the board this weekend.
So, looking around the plains, which of the suburbs around town are doing the best at the moment, Susanna?
So look, the most recent growth that we've been seeing is in the northern and southern suburbs. So just to rattle off a few, we had house values in Modbury have risen by 2.9% in the last 3 months. Windsor Gardens, 2.8%, and Hectorville, 3%. We've also seen growth in Pennington and Woodville Park, as well as Port Noarlunga, O'Halloran Hill and Aberfoyle Park. Closer to the city, Dulwich is now attracting a $1.7 million average price tag for a house, Millswood $1.7 million and Glenunga $1.6 million. And houses in Toorak Gardens have hit an average price tag of over $2 million. So whilst the rate of growth is slowing and in some cases has come backwards a bit, average house prices in Adelaide are still at record highs, and we're certainly seeing that buyers are still out buying under auction conditions, very confident in what's happening in the Adelaide market at the moment.
Excellent. We're glad to hear of confidence,
Yeah,
always.
good stuff. Thank you, Susanna.
Heading to Lismore straight after the 8 o'clock news, followed by the Health Minister, Chris Picton.
Get a read on local dining. Get a read on when the sun will be shining. Get a read on today with The Advertiser. And enjoy full digital access for only $1 a week for the first 12 weeks. Minimum cost $4. Search The Advertiser offer today. Conditions apply.
At Anderson's Solicitors, we have a brand new look. But behind it, we're still the same faces. The same approachable, client-focused team committed to helping find the right solution for you. With locations across the state, whether you need help with family law, commercial law, wills and estates, or personal injury claims, talk to Anderson's Solicitors today. Visit andersons.com.au or phone 8238 6666. That's 8238 6666.
Well, what about this? This is big news from our excellent friends at Wohlers. It's finally time for the big one. And I'm talking there, obviously, about the Wohlers VIP night at Tanunda, where it all started. The flagship first Wohlers store. For the last couple of Wednesdays, Wohlers have hosted Mount Barker and Richmond's VIP nights, and they've been a huge hit, as they always are. Well, now it's Tanunda's turn this Wednesday, and James has gone mad yet again. He's got about $10,000, more than $10,000 worth of prizes up for grabs, including a boho buffet, an IMG space chair. They are superb chairs. I know because I have 2 of them. and a Lazy Boy armchair to give away. How about that?
And the best news is that everyone is invited. There are refreshments, nibbles and even spot specials for this one-night-only event. And as if that isn't exciting enough, there are door prizes to be given away every 15 minutes.
And guests even have the chance to win.
They're going to win the Waller's
family. Not to win the Waller's family. You're not going to win them. No, that would probably be against the terms and conditions. But you can meet the Waller's family. The Waller's Tanunda VOP night. It's on this Wednesday night from 4:30 till 7:30 p.m. Check the Waller's Facebook page for more details.
Kate Collins and Brendan Raglas, the faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 20 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Almost 800 properties in the hills are without power this morning. The blackouts are affecting Belair, Crafers West and Stirling. SA Power Networks hopes everyone will be back online by 11:45. Police are hunting 2 men after a hotel robbery at Mile End overnight. The pair stole alcohol from the pub on Henley Beach Road. A staff member confronted them as they tried to leave and was punched in the face. The men fled on foot towards Taylor's Lane. Well, the beach at Seacliff is expected to reopen today after an eventful weekend. 19-year-old Nat Drummond had a chunk taken out of his surf ski yesterday during a close encounter with what's thought to be a great white shark. He's told Nine he saw a figure in the water.
I immediately just ripped my leg rope off and I swam towards these guys here who were paddling towards me, thankfully. Just jumped on their craft and pulled me out the water to safety.
The uni student was shaken but not physically hurt. Regional SA is dealing with flooding. Parts of the Riverland, Mid-North, Clare Valley and Barossa are affected. Many roads are closed and motorists are advised to take extra care. Labor says it's planning to make cuts in every budget it delivers to ensure the nation's finances remain on a sustainable footing. Tomorrow's federal budget will outline $10 billion that's already been found in savings. A further $11 billion will be redirected from infrastructure projects to other construction that's deemed more of a priority. Finance Minister Katie Gallagher says that it's just the first phase of the government's spending audit.
The budget is in structural deficit. We'll see improvements obviously with the increased revenue that's coming in over the short term, but the long term is the real challenge for the Australian budget, and that's why the spending audit needs to keep going.
Property prices are forecast to take a deep dive. Jessica Clancy has the story.
Property values could fall by up to 20% over the next 2 years, wiping hundreds of billions of dollars of wealth from households. Research by the Reserve Bank reveals the sharp rise in interest rates to curb inflation will directly impact prices. Buyers are worried rates will continue to lift, which is causing ongoing stagnation of the market. Household wealth, which peaked at $15 trillion in March, has already fallen by $484 billion in the June quarter.
A legal loophole allowing alleged Islamic State terrorists to apply to regain Australian citizenship will be closed. 4 months ago, the High Court ruled coalition-era laws allowing the Home Affairs Minister to revoke citizenship were invalid. It's understood the new laws will be introduced to Parliament, where the decision will instead be up to a court. In the UK, another development as the race to replace Liz Truss continues. Boris Johnson has announced he won't be officially putting his hand up to become the next Prime Minister, and that leaves Rishi Sunak. And a Monet in a Berlin museum has been targeted by climate protesters. They threw mashed potatoes at the painting. Reports say there's no visible damage to the artwork. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thanks, Mel. Let's start with some motorsport. Max Verstappen has capped off a brilliant 2022, winning the US Grand Prix to seal the Drivers' Championship with 3 races still to run.
It's a victory that will give Red Bull the Constructors' Championship in 2022. It's celebrations for team and for driver on such a poignant weekend. Max Verstappen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Yeah, outstanding audio thanks to Fox. Lewis Hamilton was second, Charles Leclerc third, while Aussie Aussie Daniel Ricciardo finished way back in 16th. Meantime, Francesco Bagnaia has taken out the Malaysian MotoGP, meaning he's in the box seat to claim the world title with one race to come in Valencia. Well, it's being described as one of the greatest cricket games ever played, India winning a thrilling T20 World Cup match against bitter rivals Pakistan that all came down to the final ball.
What a game we've had. Nawaz, what have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin goes over, clears the infield. India win a famous win.
Audio there again thanks to Fox. India winning that match by 4 wickets thanks largely to an unbeaten 82 from Virat Kohli. Adelaide United's players will recover today and look ahead to their first home game of the season following yesterday's 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. The Reds are sitting in 9th spot with 2 draws and a loss after round 3. In overseas action, Aston Villa has thrashed Brentford 4-0 this morning in the EPL just days after sacking manager Steven Gerrard. Also, overnight, Fulham beat Leeds 3-2, Southampton and Arsenal drew 1-1, Leicester smashed Wolves 4-0, while Newcastle upset Tottenham 2-1. And the San Diego Padres are fighting hard to keep their National League Championship Series alive in the major leagues for baseball. They're now 3-2 up at the top of the 8th against the Philadelphia Phillies, but they trail 3-1 in the best-of-7 series with the winner to advance to the World Series. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Paraka, look out for a burst water main playing up today. That's Main North Road near Montague Road. At Hackham, you'll find a pothole causing large delays today. It's a nasty sinkhole. That's Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road. A few cameras to look out for on the driving today. You'll find those Bevington Road, Galunga, also Boothby Street at Clapham. Ultratune has won the CanStar Car Servicing Award for Customer Satisfaction and Value for Money for the 4th year running. Call or search Australia's #1 Ultratune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA weather, a shower or two and 20 today. Tomorrow, a shower or two, 19. And more of the same on Wednesday, 18 degrees. Right now, it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
It's hard to get excited about anything when you have to wait. Buy a new car? Wait. Build a home? Wait. Buy a new lounge? Wait. Delayed gratification. It's everywhere. But not at Bob Burns Blinds. At Bob Burns Blinds, we have a 10-day installation promise. Our quality roller blinds are made right here in SA, not interstate. So instead of waiting 3 months or more for your roller blinds, we'll do it in 10 days. And that's a promise. bobburnsblinds.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning, 8 after 8. I'm sitting in for Will for a few days. He's having some days off with his wife Alison on paternity/maternity leave with his beautiful daughter Rosie. All is well by all accounts, but I'll be here for the next few days till Will returns in, of course, here with David. Morning, David.
Having a lot of fun, Luce. One here from Mark, who's enjoying you being here too. I'm really enjoying hearing Lucy's optimism on the radio. Did I hear her say something about summer starting? Keep up the good work.
I am obsessed with summer.
You're not a winter person, really, are you, Luce?
No,
I'd
everyone...
have thought being a Clare girl, you could just laugh in the face of winter, because it's cold as charity up there.
It sure
Claire.
is. And people who watch along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream often will see me in my Douglas Mawson ski jacket that I wear year round, but not when I'm in the chair. I sort of had the nervous sweats.
Yeah, that sort of gets the old temperature up.
Yeah, that's right.
Flat panic.
We are in for a top of 20 today with a shower or two around. Coming up shortly this half hour, chatting with Chris Picton, the Health Minister. We're also heading across to Lismore to see if the pub is still going.
Just on
there.
the question of water, Helen has texted in saying that she's in Wollongong. Beautiful Wollongong, the Gong, just south of Sydney there. Listens to 5AA every morning. I'm wondering how on earth I can get back to Adelaide. Well, I don't think the water issue's so bad that you couldn't drive back from Wollongong. You might have a bit of trouble if you're going to drive through Echuca, but there's plenty of other ways to drive. You go up sort of through the Hay Plain's fine. You come through there.
I mean, the Hay Plain is fine. It's just a long and dull drive, Helen. Good luck to you.
I tell you what, a fantastic drive is, and it will take you forever. But yeah, through Griffith. Yeah, go to La Scala, get a rocket pizza. Sam's looking at me, shaking his head. No, from the Gong, though, if you had the time to do it, one of the great drives in Australia is to drive the full south coast of New South Wales and then keep going around through past Mallacoota and then down to Orbost, the middle of the Victorian timber country, and then go through Bairnsdale, just sort of follow the coast the entire way. Take you about 3 days to get here, but every minute of it would be breathtakingly beautiful.
Thanks for your text, Helen. On the Automasters text line, send them in 04408 08 1395. Time for breaking at 8.
Well, I've got a statement here today from Frank Pangello, and it's about a story that we have spent a lot of time covering over the last few weeks. We're going to be talking to Greg Jenkins when he finally gets back from Malaysia, but as you know, we did Breaking at 8 about this one day last week, about the pretty shabby treatment that Greg has faced as he's been appearing as a witness before the Malaysian coronial inquest into the disappearance and presumed murder of his mother Anna in Penang in 2017. Now, this case has received some pretty limited, and I would even describe it as paltry, attention from the federal government. The Foreign Minister Penny Wong, she issued a statement last week which was fairly bland. It said, I know the time since Anna's disappearance has been very difficult for her family. My thoughts go out to Mrs. Jenkins' family and friends, but then said, other than making the fairly bland point that Mr. Jenkins was receiving consular assistance, which he is, the federal government then said that as the coronial inquest is ongoing, it would be inappropriate for them to make any further comment at this time. Well, look, it's getting beyond a joke. I mean, we had a situation last week where two of the prosecutors suddenly didn't turn up. One of the other witnesses didn't turn up. Greg Jenkins basically gets up every morning not knowing whether the inquest is going to be continuing or not. There's still a chance. The prosecution are arguing that they want to have the entire hearing shut down again, only to resume at a later date, somewhere down the track this year, which would mean that Greg would have to, at his own expense, fly back to Malaysia for what would be the 26th time. Like, the bloke does not have a bottomless pit of cash. Well, Frank Pangello is saying two things. The first is that he's written to the South Australian coroner asking whether it would be possible to hold a local coronial investigation into what did or didn't happen in Penang to his mum, to Greg's mum in 2017. But the other point, and this is where Frank thinks that Penny's statement falls way short of what the Jenkins family deserves. This is what Frank said to me. The contempt and disrespect shown to the Jenkins family from the day Anna mysteriously disappeared is outrageous. It's time for the federal government to step in and tell the Malaysian government in no uncertain terms how unsatisfied it is with the handling of Anna's disappearance and presumed murder by Malaysian authorities. Anna is one of our own, an elderly, law-abiding Australian citizen of strong Christian faith. In recent days, the coronial inquiry into her death has heard a construction site project manager found her remains and instructed they be reburied, and those comments didn't raise an eyebrow from anyone in the courtroom except for Greg. In most jurisdictions in the world, that would be a serious criminal offence, attracting a significant jail term, but apparently not in Malaysia. Couldn't agree with Frank Pangello's comments more, and it is about time that the federal government got off its backside and took this a hell of a lot more seriously.
Yep.
Shocking case.
Looking forward to speaking with Greg, though, when he does get back.
Yeah. I've been weird with the time difference. I've been talking to him most nights, sort of between 10 and midnight for the last couple of weeks, but he will be back probably within a week or so, and we'll get him into the studio.
8:14 on your Monday morning with David and Lucy. We are going to cross right now over to Lismore in New South Wales. We've got Nick Blake on the line. He is the owner of the Metropole pub in Lismore. Morning to you, Nick.
Good morning, guys.
Nick, we're thinking of you guys. I've been to Lismore a few times. It's a beautiful town, and we know from our own experience down here with the Murray over the years how bad floods can be. But what's it like for you at the moment, particularly with your pub? Are you still able to operate?
Yeah, it's looking fortunately a lot better just now. We've had a new weather update, and the worst of it seems to be passing us by. But that's really good news. We're on tenterhooks here in town after the devastation of the February floods. Everyone's very nervous. So
because you've had a few in the last couple of years, haven't you?
We have. We had a big one in 2017 that broke the levee bank for the first time, and decimated town. And the one in February though was like nothing before it.
What was your What was your damage in February, Nick? Did you have to totally rebuild the pub?
We did, yeah. It went right through the pub and into the first floor, so we'd had all our equipment lifted upstairs where no flood had ever been, and unfortunately it was waist deep up there. So yeah.
Gosh.
Can you get insurance for it, mate, or do the insurance companies just turn around and say, "What, Lismore? No, sorry, we're not touching with a 10-foot pole"?
Yeah, pretty much. That's where it is right now, and that's really the battle for town is going to be insurance. If you can't insure your place, it's hard to have a town. So a lot of businesses are struggling with their insurance companies right now, trying to get coverage.
And private residences too. Like I saw last night watching the news out in New South Wales, and like the journos went to one of the lower lying parts of Lismore, and they said whenever houses flood, these are the first ones to go. And I was just thinking, like, if it's at the point where the journos know exactly which street to go to, how hard would it be for those people to get cover?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. The new Reconstruction Corporation, I think, is about to release its first phase of house lifting or relocations. So we'll find out more in the next couple of weeks. We're told about what their plans are to offer people to relocate their homes out of those worst affected areas.
Yeah.
Nick, are you determined to stay in Lismore no matter what happens with this flood? Are you determined to plough on and remain there?
Yeah, it's a fantastic community. We love it. Beautiful area and very resilient community. We all pulled together through February and we'll come back. We've had other floods in the past. Hopefully we don't see one like February again.
Have you lived there your whole life, mate?
No, I haven't. We've raised our kids here, though. We moved here 16 years ago and, built a great life here. But, it's good to, hear the knowledge of locals. This one, unfortunately, this little flood this time is not going to hurt us.
Nick,
it's all relative, isn't it?
If we ever get over to Lismore, what's the best thing we should order from your pub?
Oh, come and have a palmy, or we've got some great seafood options. Yeah, we'd love to see visitors. The town really needs some help from outside. So, if you're passing through the area...
Well, you're not far from Ballina. Ballina's the home of the big prawn, isn't it? We've got a big lobster here in South Australia, but you guys got the big prawn in Ballina, haven't you?
We do, yeah. It was saved. It's now part of the Bunnings car park, but come and see the big prawn.
You got a few good big things in New South Wales. You got a big banana in Coffs Harbour.
Yeah, it's just down the road. You can come and tour the big things.
Yeah. Big merino in Goulburn.
Yeah.
We got a lobster and an orange and a rocking horse in South Australia.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, you keep dry, Nick. Good on you, mate, and we'll catch up for a palmy one day.
Yeah, appreciate the support. Cheers.
Thanks, Nick. All the best to those in Lismore at the moment.
Have you been to Lismore?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's just stunning. And talking before with Helen about driving, the song Sounds of Then, we watch the lightning over the cane fields. That's the part of Australia that song's written about. Like when you get into the sugarcane country heading up towards Queensland, and I know it's at the moment showing its potentially tragic face, but those late afternoon storms that you get up there, it's better than any TV show you've ever watched. Like, get a deck chair, sit somewhere outside with a nice cold beer and just watch Mother Nature turn it on. You can see why people like Nick move there and go, you know what, we're staying. Like, it really gets under your skin, I think. Amazing part of Australia.
I'm terrified of thunderstorms. So I will
Seriously?
I will not be doing that.
I love them.
Nope, snakes, spiders, you name it, fine.
You'd be worried about what they do to your hair, I reckon, Lise.
No, don't care at all about my hair. It's more the combo of torrential rain, thunder, lightning, just all three at once. For some reason, I just can't do it.
A lot of cultures are very scared of thunderstorms. In Africa, people freak out completely and think there's something sort of spiritual going on. Everyone runs when it starts raining.
I agree. 8:19. Let's check traffic. Don't miss out. Exclusive townhouses are now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address. Visit 88 O'Connell.
Thanks, Lucy. At Croydon, there's a smash on the north-south motorway. That's inbound near Hawker Street, seeing heavy delays at the moment. At Paracaburst Watermain, Main North Road near Montague Road, while at Hackham, got a sinkhole causing a few headaches. That's Main South Road near Penny's Hill Road. Speed's out of 40. Busy right now, Crossroad at South Road with cameras Allowin Avenue, Mitchell Park and Winston Avenue at Door Park. Telstra's flash sale is now on. Get a bonus Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 with selected Samsung Galaxy phones. Offer ends October 24. Redemption criteria and conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and
everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here, Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. Foodland, the mighty South.
You're watching the 5AA live stream, thanks to Foodland.
Mighty South Aussies, yeah.
Couriers is with us. Chris, you need more drivers.
Absolutely, Rowie. We need more drivers to maintain our high standard of perfect service. And due to new contracts starting, we need drivers urgently. So if you qualify and join our team now, we'll give you $1,500.
Wow! $1,500?
Yep, if you have a driver's license, you're already qualified. So get in touch with us. Visit acetcouriers.com.au. Conditions apply.
I work long hours, but when I'm not working, I'm tinkering with my car. It's like my meditation, and that's why I love eBay. Because eBay is home to Australia's widest range of car parts, all at a great price. I got myself a new snorkel for my four-wheel drive the other day. Off-roading is my other meditation. The best bit though, if the part doesn't fit, eBay's got my back with their money-back guarantee. That means I can browse, buy, carefree with eBay's money-back guarantee.
Is it possible to create tomorrow's car today? Hyundai believes so. Take a look at the Hyundai Tucson. This mid-size SUV features a revolutionary look, intuitive interior, advanced tech and safety.
These really are great cars. The Hyundai Tucson perfectly combines driving performance with total peace of mind. It's one of the reasons why the Tucson is already turning heads in the category, and it's already been awarded Car Sales Best Mid-Sized SUV for 2021.
You can also choose from the powerful but fuel-efficient diesel 1.6-litre turbo diesel all-wheel drive in stock and ready to drive away.
So tech drive a Hyundai Tucson to see why tomorrow wants its car back.
It's hard to get excited about anything when you have to wait. Buy a new car. Wait. Build a home. Wait. Buy a new lounge. Wait. Delayed gratification. It's everywhere. But not at Bob Burns Blinds. At Bob Burns Blinds, we have a 10-day installation promise. Our quality roller blinds are made right here in SA, not interstate. So instead of waiting 3 months or more for your roller blinds, we'll do it in 10 days. And that's a promise. BobBurnsBlinds.com.au.
Kate Collins and Brenton Raglas, the faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you, 8:23. Will is having a few days off on paternity leave with little Rosie, so he'll be back next week. Text on the Automasters text line from Helen, just a little update. She always does come across the Hay Plains, but the Sturt Highway is closed in the most important places, Darlington Point, Hay and Balranald. Well, best of luck getting back into SA, Helen.
That's right.
And another text here on the Automasters text line. Dave, the issue with our health system now extends to GP clinics. Impossible to get in to see a doc, so more people present at hospital. This is now a whole system problem rather than just a hospital issue. It will continue to get worse. It needs complete reform. That's a very timely text message. Thank you, Anonymous. We have the Health Minister, Chris Picton, on the line. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning.
Well, Minister, it does seem like every day you pick up the paper, there's another new horror story in there. Before we get to the case of the Unley family who were the victims of the stabbing during the car robbery, can I just ask you, how is it possible that the ambulance service gets told, and they did because the guy rang them and the police had also been with the chap, a guy's broken his leg in the lunga and he's got to lie on the side of the road for an hour?
Well, in relation to that case, there was a 48-minute wait for that person. There was categorised by the ambulance service as a priority 3 case. So there was other higher priority cases at the time. There was quite a bit of demand on the system at the time. And so the priority 3 case, the target is 30 minutes. So 48 minutes was outside of that target zone. But it was a feature of the fact that there was significant demand on the system and that we, therefore, are committing to put a huge number of extra paramedics and resources into the system with some new crews starting before the end of the year in Edwardstown and Marion, which will go a long way to helping that situation when there is strong demand on the system.
We've just had the 4 worst months in the history of the entire state on the one issue that you guys said you were going to fix. Now, I know you said you weren't going to fix it overnight, but are you worried that this month might be just as bad as the last 4 were?
Well, we know that there's huge demand on our health system, and we know that, just because, invested significantly since we've come to office, the issue hasn't gone away, and it is going to take time to address, unfortunately. But we're pulling every lever, we're opening every bed, we're hiring every possible staff member we can to do it. But unfortunately, it does take time to hire additional staff members, does take time to put additional ambulances on the road, does take time to build additional hospital beds. So as much as I'd love to have come in and instantly passed a law or signed a decree that suddenly this issue was fixed, it does take time to put those investments in place.
Just in relation to the Watson family and the Myers family, that this is the couple whose 9-year-old son Huck was stabbed when he and his mum tried to confront the car thieves. The stepfather Tim Watson has really fired up massively, writing an open letter to the Premier that the Times has got a copy of this morning. Do you accept his criticisms about the lengthy delay that it took to have his stepson treated for the stab wounds, or do you just think that's the sort of unfortunate clinical reality of how the triage system works?
Yeah, well, look, the Premier and Mr Watson had a good discussion last night where the Premier was able to hear his concerns in relation to the treatment of his stepson. I guess I'll talk through very quickly what the hospital's saying and what the family's saying and what we're doing about it. Firstly, he was categorised by the triage nurse, the son, when he arrived there for his hand injury as a priority 3. At this time, there was other higher priority cases in the system. There were people getting resuscitation in 2 separate incidences at the same time. And so the hospital's saying it did take 3.5 hours to get a doctor to assess him. The family is saying it took longer than that. What we're going to do about that is have a process where I've asked the Women's and Children's Health Network to get their senior doctors, the Chief Medical Officer of the hospital and the head of the emergency department to meet with the family, work through those issues and make an assessment in relation to the clinical appropriateness of the care. But it really does highlight that we do need extra doctors and resources in the system there. We've committed to hiring 48 extra doctors at the Women's and Kids, 12 extra nurses. Some of those have already started. There's more recruitment underway at the moment, but we know that that's a big area of demand, increasing demand on our system, and it's going to need extra resources.
Chris Picton, the State Minister for Health and Wellbeing, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, this is, I get the anxiety of the family, and I understand how stressful it must have been for them. Their poor kiddie's been stabbed, so you would want to be in and out as fast as possible. But you can understand the judgment of the triage nurse. The one that I do find pretty extraordinary, though, is, so it's meant to be a half-hour wait. It ends up being a 48-minute wait for a guy who's lying on his own in the dark on the side of the road in Noongar, knowing that he's broken his leg. And it does feel to me like if that happened and Chris Picton was the opposition health spokesman as opposed to the health minister, it would be a completely different take on how acceptable that was. We're seeing how quickly the government becomes the government on all of these issues. You know, more than 7 months ago, they'd be holding press conferences on the side of the road in Noongar saying, this is a sight of shame for the Marshall government. Now it's just one of those procedural things that they're gradually working towards fixing.
That's it. 8:28 coming up after the 8:30 news. We're chatting with Murray Drummond, father of Nat, the 19-year-old who was attacked by a shark.
Listen up. When we take control, we hold the key to ageing in our hands. Live Up is your new healthy ageing guide that can be accessed via phone, iPad or computer. Enjoy free expert advice, personalised support and community connections to help you age your way. Discover more at liveup.org.au. Live Up. Welcome to the upside of ageing.
There's one family in SA that's been poolside longer than any other, the Rainwise Pool family. And believe it or not, they're just as busy installing award-winning pools in the cooler months as they are in the summer. So if you don't want to be stuck standing under a sprinkler where your pool should be this summer, you really need to book your Rainwise Pool install now. There's still spaces available. And remember, Rainwise Pools take care of everything. Visit rainwise.com.au.
Now, Luce, this is hard to believe, but bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens, they might not be everybody's cup of tea.
If you're not fussed by sticky drawers, if you're not driven mad by looking at something that doesn't quite line up, if you don't appreciate millimetre perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, then maybe bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens, they're just not for you.
No, but if those things are important and you would actually prefer, like most normal people, to live with a kitchen and a bathroom that you will adore for many years to come, then you've got to speak to Coxie, David Cox and his incredible team at bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens.
And remember, it's not just about the amazing result, it's how you get there that really sets bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens apart from everyone else. biurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 20 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Peary Street, Norwood, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. physioextra.com.
Several suburbs in the hills are affected by blackouts this morning, including Belair, Crafers West and Stirling. It's hoped the power will be restored by 11:45. A hotel at Mile End has been held up. Two men entered the premises on Henley Beach Road around 12:30 this morning and stole alcohol. The pair were confronted and a staff member was punched in the face. Senior Constable Matt Brown has a description of the offenders.
Being about 175 centimetres tall, slim build, under 30 years old. One male was wearing a black hooded jumper, light coloured pants with a white stripe down the leg, white Nike sneakers, black New York Yankees baseball cap and a black face mask. The second suspect was wearing light coloured jeans, a black hooded jumper with a thick white stripe across the front.
A shark attack has shocked residents south of the city. 19-year-old Nat Drummond was in the water at Seacliff yesterday when what's believed to be a great white appeared and took a bite out of his surf ski. The uni student ripped his leg rope off and other paddlers came to his rescue. He's shaken but not injured. Tomorrow's federal budget will show a sharp reduction in economic growth as more than $20 billion in spending will be cut or redirected. Michael Packey has more from Canberra.
Australia's economy is expected to grow 3.25% this financial year and halve by 23-24 as people reduce their spending on the back of rising living costs and predictions of a higher unemployment rate. Federal Finance Minister Katie Gallagher has dismissed suggestions this is a gloom and doom scenario, but the reality of global economic headwinds.
We're not immune from some of these challenges.
Tomorrow's budget will also contain about $22 billion in savings or money redirected to projects considered more of a priority.
Residents in Echuca are on tenterhooks as the Murray continues to rise. The river could meet more than 95 metres today. Up to 700 people living on 250 properties in the area are being urged to evacuate as they could be isolated for up to 10 days. 75-year-old Merv Smith is among those who have chosen to stay.
I reckon I would have had 15 hours sleep in 5 days. And I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not winning, but I don't see any army or anybody come and help out.
Deja vu for Marsha Hines. The singer has been named as a guest judge for the new series of Australian Idol. She was a judge when the show started Down Under in 2003. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderol.com.au.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The cricket world is again praising the incredible batting talents of Virat Kohli following his breathtaking innings which helped India beat Pakistan by 4 wickets on the final ball of their match in the T20 World Cup opener. Chasing 160 to win, India looked gone when they crashed to 4 for 31, but Kohli smashed an unbeaten 82 off only 53 balls to help guide his team home. Sri Lanka won yesterday's other match by 9 wickets against Ireland. To football, Port Adelaide's players will recover today following yesterday's 2-point loss to St Kilda. The Power will finish their season with a match against Essendon on Sunday at Alberton. Adelaide United's players will also recover today following yesterday's controversial 2-2 draw against Sydney FC. Meantime, in overseas action, top of the table Arsenal has dropped points against Southampton, held to a 1-1 draw.
And still Elianusi, 1-1! Stuart Armstrong equalising for Southampton. Arsenal punished.
Audio thanks to Optus. The Gunners are still 2 points clear of second-placed Manchester City, while elsewhere Newcastle's into the top four after upsetting Tottenham 2-1. Leicester and Aston Villa all had big wins to jump out of the relegation zone, while Fulham took care of Leeds 3-2. Let's go to baseball, and the Philadelphia Phillies are within touching distance of a return to the World Series after taking the lead at the bottom of the eighth inning thanks to a two-run homer from Bryce Harper to put his side back in front.
On the seventh pitch, Harper hits one in the air, left center field, back it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
How good that atmosphere. The Phillies now leading 4-3 at the top of the ninth, and they lead that best-of-7 series against San Diego 3-1. And Rory McIlroy has just won the CJ Cup in South Carolina, but winning by a shot ahead of American Kurt Kitayama. Jason Day, the best of the Aussies, finishing in a tie for 11th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Croydon, look out for a smash this morning, north-south motorway. That's inbound near Hawker Street, seeing heavy lanes at the moment. Prospect, another collision there, Regency Road near Main North Road causing delays. And traffic lights are being affected in various areas in the hills due to a blackout. That includes Blair, Crafers and Stirling. Busy right now, North East Road at St Olts Road, with cameras Bevington Road, Glenunga and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. Sick of business paperwork? Employment Hero streamlines HR admin so you can work easy. Sign up by October 26 for up to 3 months free. Search Employment Hero, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, a top of 20 today with a shower or two. Tomorrow a shower or two 19. Wednesday a shower or two 18. And a possible shower Thursday 18. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Adelaide is coming up roses. Be surrounded by thousands of stunning roses at the Adelaide International Rose and Garden Expo. Enjoy spectacular rose blooms, floral and plant displays, expert gardening advice, garden products galore, free activities for the kids and more. Gather your fellow garden lovers for the Adelaide International Rose and Garden Expo. Adelaide Convention Centre, this Friday to Sunday. Tickets are $20 with children under 14 free. Book at roseexpo.au or purchase at the door.
Mini Jumbuck, now in McLaren Vale, make Australia's favourite wool bedding products, proudly made right here in South Australia. Mini Jumbuck uses the finest Australian wool to handcraft their quilts, mattress toppers, pillows and more. If you're looking to improve your quality of sleep, start with a visit to Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale today. You'll find some great specials in store, along with fabulous gift ideas for adults and children, or to spoil yourself. Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale, open 7 days, Australian made, Australian owned.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you on this Monday. It is David, as well as Lucy in the chair. Will's having a few days off for his paternity leave with little Rosie. He'll be back next week. Now, the story that made the news, biggest local news on the weekend, apart from the 9-year-old who was stabbed in a carjacking, was, of course, 19-year-old Nathaniel Drummond, who was out at Seacliff Beach in the water on a paddleboard comp and was thankfully not injured by a shark, but his surf ski was definitely bitten correctly in half.
A giant hole in the middle of it. It's just extraordinary looking at the photo on page 3 of the Advertiser. And we have got Nat's dad, Murray, on the line now. Murray, good morning. As a father, were you there? Did you actually see this happening in real time?
Yeah, absolutely. So my wife and I were both standing at the club, just underneath the club there. We are Seacliff members, ironically, and we live only about 500 metres from where it all happened. So I was doing the official timing for the race because Nat is heavily involved in surf lifesaving and ocean ski paddling. He's been getting ready for the big Doctor race, which is the race from Rottnest to Perth in about 4 weeks. And this was a race, this was like the third in the Ocean Paddling Series race. And, it just started as usual. The first wave that went off 15 minutes earlier. And they were sort of the older masters group and so forth. And then the elite level were going off, 15 minutes later, and he was in that group and wanted to lead. And so he was heading out and, all going well for the first 30 seconds. And then we sort of saw all this commotion going on, and I thought, someone's false started, which is a little unusual. And then we sort of heard on the radio the IRB was calling in that there was a shark. We just thought it was a shark sighting. And so, which again is not unusual. So you'd normally have them come in and assess the situation, and then potentially even go out, later on, half an hour later. And then they said a boat had been, bitten, and we thought, oh, okay, well, it doesn't seem too bad. And then we thought, hope that's not Nathaniel, and then we sort of we saw everyone sort of scrambling coming in, and we saw this 19-foot ocean ski on the back of an IRB with this massive big hole in it. We couldn't see Nat in the IRB, and our heart sank. My legs went jelly, and it was horrific. Yeah.
When you look at the boat, I'm just trying to get a sense of the orientation.
Yeah.
So the hole, which part of Nathaniel's body was near the hole? Is that where he had his feet resting?
No, that's his butt.
So that's what he was sitting on?
It's his seat, yeah. That's the seat part. So from all accounts, and the people that we know that know sharks, and there was some marine biologists there yesterday doing forensic work on the ski in the afternoon from Flinders. They generally go down to the bottom, apparently, and then come straight up and just chomp the belly of, if it happened to be a big seal or whatever, they just chomp it, and then come back again for, the second take.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it took carbon fibre, and it didn't like the carbon fibre, and so it's probably, it's moved away relatively quickly, thinking, wow, I didn't expect that. We've actually got, I took a photo of it. There's bits of gum and blood on there from the shark itself on the actual ski. Quite fascinating. And they found a tooth in the IRB that took him that took the ski back in with Nat. So yeah, it's.
So he's sitting on top of a shark that's just barreled right up.
Yeah.
Dead vertical, thinking it's his baby seal.
Yeah. And it lifted him about a metre out the water. So it's lifted him out, and he flew out of the ski, and he had his leg rope still attached, and sort of. But this is the really good thing, and I've said this a number of times today, is that, he's been a surf lifesaver since he was 6 years of age. He was around all of these other surf lifesavers who have, some in their 30s, 40s and 50s, who have been surf lifesavers since they're 6 years of age. They just knew what to do. They all banded together. There was a couple of skis banded together. Nat took off his leg rope. He scrambled over. They threw him onto the ski. He laid on top of a couple of skis because they're really quite unstable. They're only 8 to 10 kilos each. And then the IRB quickly came along and picked him up. And so, we can't fault Surf Lifesaving SA at all, and we can't fault any of the guys, and girls, who were involved in that whole process. It was just wonderful.
Murray, I don't know the legalities around keeping a shark tooth, but do you guys get to keep that tooth as a memento of the occasion?
Well, interestingly, someone messaged us because they knew us, obviously, who were in the boat, and they said they found the tooth, but they've sent it off to, or they're sending it off to another Flinders academic who's going to do some testing on it. But yeah, because I'm a professor at Flinders, and so is my wife, and we'll get in contact with them, and I'm pretty sure Nat would like to keep it. Yes.
I tell you what, Murray, I got to say, listening to this rollicking and extraordinary tale, this is cementing my view that the full extent of my involvement with surf lifesaving in South Australia is going to be sitting on the deck of the newly renovated SLSC at Aldinga, where the only fish that I'll be looking at is the kingfish carpaccio on the plate in front of me.
Look, this is just such an absolute rare event. Like I was talking to all these guys, these old salties that have been involved with surf lifesaving for 40 or 50 years, and they've said they've never seen a shark, and they've never seen anything like this, and it just happened to my son, and it's just one of those things. Look, I'm sure we'll wrap our arms around him, and we'll nurture him over the next couple of weeks, but he'll get back out there, I'm sure.
Well, he's already said that he will, which is commendable.
Yeah. But that's a 19-year-old adrenaline talking. You remember that?
Oh, geez.
But yeah, look, I'm sure he will, because all the other, everyone around him is and involved in the surf lifesaving and this ocean paddling fraternity is really, been wonderful to him. So,
I'll tell you what, he's got a cracking anecdote for his 21st, a couple of years away.
Has he ever?
Thank you so much this morning,
Wow.
Murray. Appreciate your chat.
No worries. Thank you.
That is extraordinary. If you haven't got today's paper, get it. Because think, I'm looking at the photo now, that's his butt. That's where he's sitting. Whack.
Hard to imagine, isn't it?
Oh.
I don't want to imagine it, really.
I don't want to imagine it. I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head next time I'm sitting on the old bright red double-seater kayak paddling around the edge of the reef at Aldinga thinking, what's under there?
Thank goodness he's here to tell the tale.
Absolutely.
Let's check Fuel Watch today. Find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free My RAA app from your app store this morning. Unleaded petrol if you're in the north, $1.59 at the Ampol on Bridge Road in Parry Hills. If you're in the east, also $1.59 at the Liberty on OG Road in Clemzig. Down south, it's $1.67 at the X Convenience on Shearer Drive in Seaford. And if you're out west, $1.69 at the OTR on Henley Beach Road in Fulham. Cheapest diesel, again, every day it's a topic of conversation. $2.21 at the X Convenience on Salisbury Road in Salisbury. All South Aussies can find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free My RAA app today. And checking traffic for your drive into work. Don't miss out. Exclusive townhouses are now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address. Visit 88 O'Connell.
Thanks, Lucy. At Croydon, look out for a smash on the north-south motorway. That's inbound near Hawker Street. Seeing delays there at the moment. Traffic lights are being affected in various areas in the hills due to a blackout. That includes Belair, Crafers and Stirling. Maslin Beach, collision on Commercial Road near Sheriff Road. Quite heavy delays there at the moment. And we're busy Cross Road at South Road. Look out for cameras, Green Hill Road, Burnside and Shakespeare Avenue at Tranmere. Hungry? Head to a Porto for the Bondi Burger Box. Double Bondi Burger, 2 crispy chicken strips, snack chips, drink and dipping sauce, just $16.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The next generation of mighty South Aussies have spoken.
Equal rights for everyone. Oceans without junk in them. No nasty chemicals in things.
Search Sustainable 7 to hear more about what the future's got in store for Foodland.
Spare battery, so you can swap batteries with ease and no downtime. Receive alerts, see and control everything from your phone. All Secure 650 from leading electrical retailers and Swan.com. Always charged, always secure. From Swan Security.
Save up to $30,000 on premium upgrades when you build with Rivergum Homes. Choose from up to 27 quality options and upgrade your home and your life. With stylish kitchen appliances and stone veg tops, home automation, premium flooring and a solar energy pack with EV charger. But for a limited time only. Go to rivergumhomes.com.au or visit any of our displays at Seaford, Parafield, Anglevale, Playford Alive or Mount Barker. Terms and conditions apply.
Everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying sold by McGain again.
And right now, McGain have families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale. So if you're looking to sell, contact the brilliant team at McGain and ask about their unique McGain match strategy. They could already have the perfect buyer for your property.
The other big bonus going with McGain is their community focus. It is just as important as selling homes to them. In fact, they go hand in hand. When you have McGain on your team, you're helping them support local sporting and social clubs, local artists, several charities dedicated to the homeless, plus community services like Lifeline and the Sammy D Foundation.
They're always among the first to jump on whenever we're doing any fundraising at 5AA. They are very big-hearted people. Get in touch with the team at McGain. They're fantastic folks, very community-minded, and it's just another reason why everywhere you look, there's a sign popping up saying, sold by McGain again.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given motorists a clear view of the road ahead with their 24-hour windscreen repair and replacement service. No one does it better than Hayden and Lindsay Dean at Complete Windscreens, which is the very reason you should tell your insurer you want Complete Windscreens on the job. You deserve the best, most reliable and cheapest. CompleteWindscreen.com.au.
Kate Collins and Brenton Raglas, the faces you know and the team you can trust. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning to you. We'll get to behind closed doors shortly. Will having a few days off on paternity leave with his new daughter Rosie. They're all well and happy, which is excellent news. But we are, of course, joined by his new Channel 7 colleague, well, Will's new colleague. David Koch has been there for 2 decades. Koshy, good morning to you.
Good morning. Oh, isn't that great with Will and Rosie?
Oh, it's excellent.
Lovely news.
No, it's
Lovely
terrific.
news.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
No, although you valiantly read the news for Channel 7 over the weekend, I noticed, Koshy.
Wow. That is,
You might have wanted half an hour of peace and quiet.
Yeah. I think we can all relate to that, can't we? I reckon it'll be back on deck here pretty quickly, too, if that's the case.
That's right.
See you on out of here.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Hey, speaking of commitment, 2 more years.
Yeah. I thought maybe I should give it away at the end of this year, and because Lib and I sort of want a bit more flexibility in our life and things like that. We've got a few things on with footy and our own business and things like that. And but Seven very kindly said, "Hey, let's see if we can do something where it gives you more flexibility, but keeps a commitment to Sunrise and the network." So, I'm really grateful to Kerry and Kerry Stokes and James Warburton. We were able to work something out for the next 2 years. So I'm delighted. Very privileged. I had the world's best job, as you two know.
Well, yeah.
If you love people and you're interested in people, the jobs that we all do together on breakfast radio and TV, it is just so fascinating. You love it.
That is so true, mate. And it's not the sort of thing you'd ever say in front of the boss, but you almost feel like you do the job for free. I mean, in the last hour, we've spoken to this cracking bloke called Nick Blake, who's a publican in Lismore, about how the floods are affecting him. We just spoke to the most extraordinary guy, the father of Nat Drummond, who was the Adelaide lad who was out kayaking yesterday at Seacliff and almost had his bum bitten off by a great white in his surf ski. Like, these are just fascinating people with great stories to tell.
No. Exactly right. When I did my 20 years, I put up a post on Instagram of my 20 favourite memories of 20 years, and my brother-in-law said, he said, I felt like putting in the comments, and you get paid for doing this?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
He's got a point, though. He's got a very serious point.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Koshy, we spoke about Lismore this morning, and you've had the Sunrise reporters out everywhere on the East Coast. How's it all going in New South Wales?
Well, it is phenomenal. You look at the map of New South Wales, and I brought it up a few times on Sunrise today. I reckon there's 30-40% of the entire state under major flood watch at the moment. And, just these massive red blotches across the state, and particularly up north around the northern rivers, around Lismore, Ballina. They're still coping with the stress and the emotion of the floods earlier this year. I have a nephew who lives in Ballina. He's still out of his house. The Jip Rockers haven't been in yet because there's a massive queue. He won't be in his house, fingers crossed, back in it until Easter. Now, that's well over a year later, and they've got a little daughter. And every time the rain comes down heavily, she asks, are we going to go through this again? So that's the human side. We've all moved on with our lives, for those who haven't been affected by floods. But literally tens of thousands of families are still coping with the aftermath of it.
And tomorrow, Koshy, the Albanese government brings down its first budget, first Labor budget that the country will have seen in more than a decade. How do you see it panning out, given what they inherited thanks to COVID with the holes that have been blown in the bottom line?
Yeah, holes blown in the bottom line. The bottom line is a lot better than everyone expected because our exports have been going great guns. Our mineral exports overseas has reduced the black hole by about $30 billion more than everyone thought.
Isn't that ironic? They're not allowed to sponsor football teams anymore, but they're allowed to prop up the national economy.
Yeah, which they have been doing, and thank goodness for that.
Yes.
I was talking to the Prime Minister over the weekend in Perth for the big telethon fundraising, and he said to me, Kosher, we just want it to be boring. We want a boring budget that just does its job, because I think everyone is thoroughly sick of politicians after the pandemic, and we just want to get everyone to get on with their lives. And I went, hallelujah. That's about time. So, look, I think it's going to be a really conservative budget. They've got to be careful not to fuel inflation, otherwise financial markets will crash around it. Jim Chalmers is a really good treasurer, great background. Andrew Charlton, who is a professor of economics, who's a member for Parramatta, runs the economics committee. So I think it's going to be steady, it's going to be a bit boring, and I reckon that's exactly what we need. And it will be targeting those who are going to be hit hardest by increased energy prices and inflation, but not go overboard, and that's exactly what we want.
Good stuff. David Koch from Sunrise on 7 for another 2 years. We'll catch up again next week, mate. Thanks, Dave.
Good on you guys.
Thanks, Koshy.
Bye.
There you go.
Another 2 years of Koshy Mondays.
Yes, 2 more years. More. You can understand. It's like a drug. You sort of get to the point. You just go,
Carry on.
Not ready to say no to this just yet.
He's right. We chat to extraordinary people, and if you're interested in people and you're interesting, it's a great career.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Let's go to behind closed doors. Thankfully, I've escaped another day from John Blake. But with Wheel away for a few more days, you never know.
No, don't count your chickens yet.
Maybe I'm purposely jinxing it. Maybe I'm purposely jinxing it so much that he'll just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, I'll try that tactic before. It never works with Blakey.
Yeah, that's right. Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Andrew Brymer.
Yep, welcome back to the program. Andrew Brymer with you on 13.95, Adelaide's interactive 5AA on your AM dial, and you can give me a call on 822 300. Tonight until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about the English language and how to pronounce words. Well, maybe not for the whole time, but certainly until such time when we've had enough. But we'll be talking about pronouncing words and the correct and the incorrect ways of pronouncing words, because, let's face it, a lot of people get their pronunciations wrong, don't they? So we'll be looking at the different pronunciations of words, because I believe it's important that we get it right. There's no doubt that it's out and out laziness when you're out and about. You hear people about the place talking about different things, and some people accidentally rhyme when they talk too, and that can be annoying when they're toying with the language and not paying attention when they mention some words and they're away with the birds, doesn't it? You can email me too on air at 5AA.com.au. If you can spell, and I can tell how well you spell, because in a nutshell I can spell, so that augurs well for me, I can tell you. And you can also ring on that thing invented by Alexander Graham Bell. Let's talk to Sally. Hello, Sally.
Oh, g'day, Andrew.
How are you, Sally?
I'm fine, thanks. Andrew, I find it ironic that you're talking about pronouncing words correctly and you're pronouncing pronunciation wrong.
Am I?
Yes, it's pronunciation, not pronunciation.
What's wrong with pronunciation?
It's wrong.
Yes, but that's just your view, and I'm not sure that it's true that for me to do the right thing, I should take my cue from you when I knew that when I...
Oh, now you're rhyming again.
Well, if you've got a complaint, show some restraint before you try and paint me as a...
Thank
like
you,
Eminem.
John Blake.
Only not quite as cool.
Not quite as cool.
No.
Top of 20 today, shower or two. Dave and I will be back tomorrow. Leon Biner coming up after 9.
See you then.
See you then.
The 88 O'Connell exclusive townhouse release is now selling. Step up your lifestyle in these luxuriously crafted homes.